And I believe we are going. All right, fantastic, folks. Welcome. I haven't even told people to refresh. I've only been doing this 4 years.
Refresh
Stay at
people.
me. All right, brilliant. Let's try that again. Hello, folks. Hello, people catching us live and wonderful people watching on the replay. This is episode 234 of Double Feature Horror Show, in which we are going to discuss Compliance from 2012. An absolute gem. I am once again invoking a mandatory tens minimum, just like I did last week. Didn't work last week. Widespread rebellion against last week's film, shame. But that muted guy.
Okay, it didn't quite work last week, just like my microphone just now. But let's see about this week. Let's give it a go this week. Let's see if you can actually raise the bar. I don't think it will take too much convincing.
It's double gems for me, but other opinions are available. Folks, yes, you just heard the wonderful dulcet tones of TCG. He whips his hair back and forth. He whips his hair back and forth. He whips his hair back and forth.
Yeah, I did it so much it all fell out. Hey, chat. What are the oranges for?
What are they for? What are they for? What's the latest on that, TCG? Well, people roll in because I didn't tell anyone to watch or refresh.
I don't know.
Is he hiding? Is he in hiding?
Oh, he's still streaming. Apparently, he's now started doing 9 a.m. streams. I think he's trying to capture a new audience. One, maybe people that, or either that, or he's trying to evade the people that would normally be trolling him in the afternoon. But as Nicholas Diorio said, he's only awakening the Australians. So, you know,
and as we know, the Aussies are a menace.
Yeah, aren't they just? So yeah, I'm fully expecting Dissident Knight and Mr. Gently Benevolent to send the odd super chat just to get his attention. Exactly, Maverick.
I was going to attempt an Australian, but it's a bad idea. We'll just skip over it.
Yeah.
Especially if we want to stay family friendly, which of course we do. We do.
Yeah.
Massive congrats. Lawrence has actually beaten the Aussie menace this week. He's in with the first super chat. He's done it. He's reclaimed the crown. Well done.
Good man.
Thank you very much, Lawrence. Dropping in £2, enough for a salty bag of fries, saying, I will not comply.
Good man. Good man.
That's the way to go with this one.
Isn't it amazing that the person with the most common sense in this film was the chap who looked the most ragged?
Yep.
You know, the one who looks like if he got pulled over in a traffic stop, he would yell "Sovereign citizen."
Am I being detained?
Am I being detained? Yep.
Thanks very much, Lawrence. I appreciate it. Yeah, I love it. This TCG. How long are we going to manage to stick on this film without being like, you know what? I did have this boss once.
Well, I don't.
Is it going to be boss anecdotes all stream?
Do you know what? I wasn't even thinking so much about the bosses. I was thinking about just the types of people that I've dealt with personally through banking, because like the things that he was getting them to do in this film sounds so absurd on the face of it, but obviously inspired by true events. But there are people out there who will absolutely buckle to any kind of authority. And
I love doing it.
Yeah, and I don't know how accurate this was because I think it was was it a McDonald's or something that it happened?
It was mostly McDonald's, but he tried it everywhere. Apparently, video stores.
Oh, really?
Were targeted. Video rental.
Oh no, poor Blockbuster.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, you think she's sticking a VHS up there? I don't think so. It's a hard sell. So he only did a few of those.
By the way, the title to this stream is absolutely wild. If you do not get 3 a.m. views off the back of that,
yeah,
that is a throwback.
That is a great title. Come on, I felt slightly bad about it, given that the film is absolutely, genuinely harrowing. But
it is massively, and
I love the title so much. I just stuck with it.
I don't think the horror is very hidden in this one, if I'm completely honest with you. I think this is quite
Good.
the freak show, I think.
Good. And that is what I like to hear. Like, I mean, the whole purpose of this was like challenge. Let's see how we can get horror without all the accoutrement. No masked freaks.
Yeah.
No knife in the perineum. Nothing
Yeah.
like that. No
Yeah.
big-breasted girls who can't act when running up the stairs when they should be going out the front door. It's insulting. None of that.
None of that.
But things that leave you feeling actually horrified and
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
this
And yes,
is
Devontae, we are showing faces now.
we are
showing. Yeah.
we are TCG's idea, and I've warmed to it. I like it.
I just sort of like steamrolled the stream a few weeks ago by doing like some pixelated black and monochrome monochrome face, and I was like, bollocks to it, I'm just going to do it now. I'm just going to do it.
Just
So
rocking it.
yeah. I'm even working on a video at the moment, and I'm actually going to just do face on the video. I think
Face out.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep it to a minimum if I can, but yeah, why not? All my true crime friends are doing it, so why can't I?
I've got to ask you a dirty question, a dirty insider question, TCG.
Do it.
Is it just to reduce the editing time?
Can neither confirm nor deny.
Now, you're far more successful, dedicated creator than I am, but let me tell you, folks, because editing is such bull. If you see a video where I'm doing an excessive amount of camera, it's largely so I can get you, my beloved viewers, the video quicker and not spend an additional 6 hours editing, which are hard. Those hours are hard to find when you're a parent, you know.
Absolutely.
Oh, by the way, speaking of being a parent, we will talk about this film in detail very soon, but what a film to be watching and reviewing when I can confirm that Little Horror Show is still knocking stuff over and then saying, clean it up, Wagey. She's still doing it. It's the perfect film to go with that.
Of all the things to have taught your daughter, that is absolutely outstanding. I can't wait until she takes that into play school.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Because
she does it.
She has a very interesting saying, Horror Show, you know, when you're having the little parent teacher sort of conversations. You know, she keeps telling me to clean stuff up and then calling me a wagey. What?
I hope it happens. Well, she's out of nappies now, but
okay.
I'd like to think it's maybe like pre-flush or something.
Okay.
She'd just point in there and say, "Flush it, Wagey.
Flush it, Wagey. Clean it up, Wagey. Feed me, Wagey."
Yes, Lawrence.
Me
Chad toddler.
Chad.
Little Horror Show is an absolute chadette. It's true. And Adam Loves Horror has sent in $2. Thank you ever so much, saying comply with the like button and subscribe. Absolutely, yes. Everyone should do that. And thank you for reminding me. We do have to chill. Folks, if you want to support this channel, the easiest thing you can do while you're watching is smash the like button. You can even be up to the cool new thing, and you can hype this video. I'd really welcome that. If you've never hyped a video before, do it now. Give it a go. Totally free. I've been doing it myself. It's good times.
And because of the channel size that we are at the moment, or I say we, Horror Show is at the moment, she gets what's called a small creator bonus. So she actually gets more points than, say, Carl Benjamin's A Carl Daily channel.
Yeah, so, very welcome, you know. Very welcome. If you want to help this reach horror fans who want a little bit more than a 20-minute plot summary, naming no names, then, you know, I didn't say anything.
I'm not hyping this film to my grandmother.
You know, then you help it and hype it and help us. That's tough to say. That's tough
Devontae, speaking about the editing, just going back to that, she said, they say, tell me about it. And I'm more so on the book side of things. Editing this is crazy. It's a 1,600 plus paged book I published partially in volumes. Wow. On Amazon. Took 10 years to get done.
Crikey.
Christ on a bike. Wow.
1,600 pages. But hey, look, you beat George R.R. Martin to
Yeah,
it.
that's very true. Yeah.
Kudos to you, Devontae.
Yeah.
Kudos. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Thank you again, Adam. You're right. And okay, so if you've liked, if you've hyped, what else can you do? You can support the stream via super chats, both here and on super chats here, tips on Subscribestar. But it would be awesome if you joined as a member. I want members. Why? Because then I can give something back. You can vote on the topic we cover. You get a film of your choice covered, and you get exclusive content. So that's why I strongly encourage you to join as a member, both here or on Subscribestar. That's all my shilling. Oh, and one final thing. If you, for some reason, cannot get enough of me, there's got to be someone, then I found out that Lotus Eaters had actually, sneaky boy style, dropped the 4th part of the David Lynch series. So the complete David Lynch series is up on lotuseaters.com, £5 a month, and you can watch the lot. You can do that. You can do the Kubrick series. You'll be getting about 30 hours of me chatting about great directors with the lads. So there we go. That's my shilling. How about yourself, TCG?
Not so much shilling. We have now got to the home stretch on the Metal Gear Solid journey that we've been going on these last few months. We did Metal Gear Solid Zeros in one stream because it's only basically a demo. So I did the story level. I haven't bothered with any of the side missions because we're all about the story. But we are now on Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. We did the first stream on Tuesday. Yeah, it's Thursday tonight. Yeah, Tuesday. My God, it actually is really, really good. First impression so far. So very much enjoying that. I will be going live for a little bit later tonight. Unfortunately, I have to get up early tomorrow. I've got like a 15-hour shift tomorrow. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
That Monster Zero guy.
So I know about oh no. It's pure natty energy, I think. So you know now you know about Pars. I do know about Pars. Pacifica Ocean, she called herself towards the end of Peace Walker, and then we forgot all about that in Ground Zeroes. So fine. Fine.
All right, Pat.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Before I forget, I have finished a script for a true crime video. So it is taking me a hell of a longer than I would have liked to. But I will aim to get some. I'm going to aim to get that out as soon as possible. If you want to know what it is, just go and look at my latest short on my main channel because it was sort of promised about 3 months ago. But it is coming. It is coming. And it will be out before George R.R. Martin's next Game of Thrones book, and it will be out before GTA 6. Okay?
Yeah, guaranteed.
You have my word. You have my word.
Nice. Yeah, you have my sympathy as well, man. Like I told Adamless Horror about an idea I had for like a quick 10-minute one, and even though I was going to do that as basically a 2-camera thing, nice and quick for a bit of Scream theory.
Well, we still need to take Double Feature Horror Show on the road and get that monster Ed Gein story done. I'm
up for it. I'm happy to do it, man.
We need to.
Waifu will support it. She will be keen to watch that.
Yeah, and again, because there's a massive throwback because that was the first true crime story I covered. But that series, man, made me very angry. Not as angry as the end of The Boys, though. I won't spoil anything, but needless to say, what a whimper.
Oh dear. Well, I dropped out at the end of season 2, I'm afraid.
Mate.
So I'm feeling good about that decision now.
The sunk cost fallacy of that show is real. I stuck it out, and I'm like, oh man, I should have dipped out after season 2. To be fair, and it's a shame, man. Eric Kripke is good at what he does. Unfortunately, he got too politic brained. And
sad times. Well,
what can you do, eh? What can you do?
Yeah,
indeed. Jensen Ackles bloody brilliant in it.
Well, that'll always be a positive, you know. You saw the boys back together,
and Anthony Starr as well as Homelander. Brilliant, brilliant performances. Some really good. Yeah. But
Oh,
yeah.
just in Dollface. I don't think I've seen you for a while. Very good to see you,
Ooh.
man. And absolutely agreed. You could do this as a double bill with Speak No Evil, but I couldn't. I can't make it through that movie again. That film broke me. But you're
Oh,
absolutely true. You so on the money, yeah. Both touching the same area, compliance, compulsion, the creeping manipulation, the failure to listen to your instincts. Although in Speak No Evil, of course, one of the most horrifying things is that the guy who is meant to see through all the BS is the one most, cowed to
susceptible
it.
to it.
Whereas,
Yeah.
thank goodness, in compliance, you've got a couple of gruff old chaps just ready
Well,
to
one
smack
gruff old,
HR ladies in the face and say,
well,
hell no.
one gruff old age chap, and then one
Mm.
young lad who's a bit questionable. The other older chap, not so
Oh,
much. Not so much.
he looked like Chuck from Better Call Saul, and I couldn't get that out of my head.
I see it.
And we do actually have a Better Call Saul alumnus in here.
Mm,
So, but I'll move us on. Tell you what, we've been talking about 60 minutes. Let's get into compliance, because
yeah,
this is a juicy burger to bite into. For
massively so.
anyone, TCG, who did not watch this, what the heck is compliance about?
So compliance it takes place in a chicken restaurant, KFC-esque,
Mm.
if you will, Chickwich, I believe it's called.
Oh yeah.
And just a normal day, staff have a bit of a meeting before they open up, talk about the day's shift, and they get on with their job. Anyway, the manager, Sandra, who is in the middle there, receives a phone call from a man called Daniels, who is claiming to be a police officer. And it's been alleged that Becky, I believe her name is, the young
Mm.
cashier, or young blonde cashier, who is in the
Got her here.
foreground facing away, there she is, has stolen a purse, stolen money from a customer, stolen a purse. And so she
Mm.
is ushered into the back, and Daniels essentially starts making some very, very odd requests because there's a little bit of an issue getting there to obviously snatch her up and do the police work. And so essentially he asks Sandra to do it.
Mm.
But as we go deeper into the film, the requests become a little bit more strange, a little bit more unusual, a bit more
Mm.
unorthodox, and a hell of a lot more immoral.
Oh yes.
This is a
Yes.
great film about compliance and
Mm.
authority.
And I think it's fair to say, as while this is based on a real incident,
Yes.
the
Did it? Did
themes of this are just extremely relevant all around. I don't want to just like politics jacket this stream.
yeah.
You, I'm sure, can think of your own examples in the political realm where this was an issue, where people just went along with things. Whatever stripe, whichever way you lean politically, I'm sure you have an example bubbling to your head where
Well,
you
there's
just
examples
think,
both sides. I mean, obviously,
yeah,
you
of
can talk
course.
about the
Yeah.
Austrian painter and the 1930s slash 40s, but then you can also talk about
Mm,
Mao's China
yeah.
during their cultural revolution. You've also got like the Bolsheviks, I believe, in the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
early
The
1900s.
checker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's plenty of it, and you can even look into more recent times, like a certain time 5 or 6 years ago, perhaps.
I think Adam loves horrors. He must be in a bar somewhere, maybe having cocktails, because he's talking about shots.
Oh,
That
nice.
must be you in a cocktail bar there, Adam. I don't know why you're talking about shots so much.
But yeah, it's amazing
What
what's
jabs? Is one of you at a boxing match?
it must be
What's going on,
sparring.
guys? I
It
don't
must
know
be.
what you
Oh, do you know
mean.
what? He must be at a bar that's hosting an amateur boxing night. That's the only thing I can
That's
think of. Yeah.
that's got to be it. That's got to be it. Yep. Yep. Ah. Hmm. Yes. So we will try not to we'll try not to go too much into it because I think it's easy to go down that route, and the more general application of what it's talking about and that sinister nature is the
Excuse me.
juicier stuff. The juicier
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, it goes into weird areas, and it is very disturbing. It goes, I mean, the title is Horror Prank Call Gone Wrong, Gone Sexual. Yeah, I mean, ultimately,
I mean, it literally is that in that order. Like,
the guy really doesn't want it to go sexual, and he takes it into some extremely dark places.
yeah.
And oh boy, and that is what we are going to discuss here. Did you while we're just addressing this, did we I said we've got a Better Call Saul alumnus in here. That was, where is he? Oh, for heaven's sake, where am I going to find him? He's going to be late. Here he is. No, that is not Douglas Murray. That is that's Pat Healy. He rocked up in very early, I think like 3 seasons into Better Call Saul, and then he was for a short cameo, and then he was a major character in the last one. So very, very good, very good. Nice to see him, but I'm afraid genuinely I couldn't unsee Douglas Murray in this. In every scene he was in.
Have you been to Israel? Have you seen the things going on there?
I don't know if I should be strip searching my employee. Have you ever been to a police academy?
Have you ever been to a police station and strip searched? You can't talk about it until you've actually experienced it. I have. I am a real journalist. I was invited by all of the official people.
Oh,
they did the deepest cavity search known to man, and I tell you, it was super professional.
Yeah, volunteer. No, I'm not going down that direction. I don't want to be accused of
Dave Smith. Crime. You know nothing about cavity searches.
Oh dear. Oh my goodness. Yeah, couldn't unsee it. Couldn't unsee it at all. Yeah, so there was him who stood out to me. A lot of them looked quite familiar, but I was pleased to catch one person in particular. Where is she? Yes. Becky herself, Dreamer Walker. I was a bit of an autist here, TCG. I recognized her immediately.
She looked familiar to me, but I couldn't. I just thought, oh, just average Hollywood blonde. I didn't really. Go on.
Gran Torino. This is an obscure thing. I don't watch anything cool. I see she's been in mainstream stuff like Gossip Girl, but I recognized her as from Gran Torino, where she was Clint Eastwood's ungrateful, spoilt granddaughter.
Right. Did you hear about the Sundance Festival when they showed this film?
Yes. Yeah, people I looked up the article linked about it.
This is the kind of film that we're dealing with, chat. People watched this at the Sundance Festival. I think it was in 2012 when it was released, and they walked out, and people were very, very angry and shouty about this film, not because it sucked, but because of it was very, very, very upsetting for a lot of people watching this film, and I can totally understand. I mean, I don't think it's there with Stranger Things, not Stranger Things, with Funny Games. I beg your pardon.
No,
that whatever it was we watched last week, that is gone from my memory. But I tell you what, this was more of a frustration. Like, how are you falling for this? What the Aj? But
yeah,
I can imagine it was a lot like that.
I think a lot of that. There were, from what I can tell, there was some sort of like. It seems really odd to me now, but there are people saying that was so exploitative. She was naked for half the movie. Why did I do that accent? I've got no idea who complained, but like there was like a feminist angle to it, like it's exploitative. I don't know.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense to me. And then I think a lot of it was genuine, like anger at the situation and just finding it too upsetting. And it was upsetting to me. It really was. Like, this was a tough watch, and I want to give it a lot of credit for going into like dark, sexually abusive territory without like without being like, how can I say, like
overtly
fat fodder.
graphic. Yeah.
Basically, this was designed so that you, even though there's a huge amount of nudity from a very attractive actress, that no one's enjoying this.
No.
Or if you did, you were a very sick person, because basically it is shot in as unerotic a way as possible. Like when she's strip searched, I just like, look at this angle. Look how bland this is. You know, there's what is her name? Marty is just there,
Marty,
kind of like
yeah, that's
disembodied.
Yeah.
By the way, this is another thing the film does really. This is I see you, chat. I know you're complaining about the director. You may have a case for him for later, particularly his 2020 film The Hunt. I will absolutely not defend him on that one. But this one, solid gold, great directing. Look at this screen. I'm pointing to the screen even though my camera is up here, and it's going to be very confusing to you. Let's use the mouse. Just the way the shot is composed. The subject, Becky, in the distance, muted beige colors to sort of, desaturate, make it less, desaturated makes it less passionate. The fact that she's got a nude colored bra on also makes it sort of desaturated, uninteresting, de-eroticized, etc. But she's the only one with a head and frame. She's the subject. The two other women are just obscured. You don't see the head. It's like they are not really people. They are not thinking characters. They are just depersonalized. They're hidden behind products as well, as a way of just showing they're not really in charge. They're not really people. It just makes it in line with the themes of this, that there is a human subject and everyone else has just depersonalized, and they're just like, hey, I'm just following procedure.
Yeah.
And like there are shots like this throughout that just make people look alienated and distance. It's Laku, it was The Hunt was a sort of poorly received film about, hey, what if we just hunted Trump supporters? Didn't watch it myself because it got a load of heat, but from the scenario, maybe he turns it around, but the scenario made it seem like it was kind of cashing in, and there were quite a few things in that era that sort of went out of their way to get a dig in a very polarized political time, and I try not to reward slop like that. Do not confuse it with the excellent but also blooming hard to watch Mads Mikkelsen film The Hunt.
Okay.
Can't recommend that though. It's really good, but you're not going to have a good time. Have you seen that one, TCG?
I haven't, no. Not the Mads Mikkelsen one. I'm just trying to think if I've seen the other one though. 2020 film. Let's have a look. Oh, I might have seen that one actually, because they all sort of, is that where they just sort of start off in a field and there's like a giant box to begin with? Oh yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. I don't remember much of it, but it's a bit naff. If I remember correctly, it almost tries to be like a comedy as well. And it just doesn't work for me. Like, it's quite forgettable, although god damn.
All the way. The memory is flooding back now.
Just one of the pictures. It's like, god damn.
All right. Okay. Adam's Horror sent in $5, which is very much appreciated. Thank you, Adam. Saying people didn't use the internet the same then. People say they wouldn't join a cult, but they slowly comply. True. Respect your elders' authority.
I think.
And feeling useful also. True. Very true.
I think it goes back to something that Jordan Peterson talked about years ago in one of his classes, back when this is back in the day when he was still teaching, and there was a class, like a lecture that he did, and he was talking to the students, and he was saying, how many of you think you would have been, and not like Nazi, like back in 1930s Germany, and nobody raised their hands, and he was like, I guarantee that you would have been, like 95% of you would have been, because of the times, the norms, the authority. Do you think that the people that were living in that time really wanted to be doing that stuff? Well, they might have done, because they might have been convinced into it, or they may have just, as they said, following orders. Obviously, I'm butchering what he said, but he was very, very it was a very, very salient and decent argument, and probably right. I mean, a lot of the people nowadays, we look, hindsight is 2020. We can look back at that. We can look back at times, those sorts of times. We say, "Oh no, I'd never get involved in that." But who's to say? I mean,
careful, chat. No, but you are 100% on the money. It is like the thing of, oh, I would never join the mid-century Germans is at, I would never comply is actually a sign that you have complied. And I hope in terms of YouTube policy, this is not misunderstood. But in our time, because the mid-century Germans are painted as the most ultimate S-tier grade of evil, and no amount of devilry is too bad to be pinned on them, right? That kind of visceral revulsion to them is itself a sign that that's just the modern thing that you're taken into, right? Like it. If I were to put to someone, how would you have behaved in the French Revolution? People can respond to that less emotionally, and they might say, "Oh yeah, I can see why they had a point on this, but I think this might." Whereas if you said, "Do you think you'd have seen anything in the NSDAP?" There'd be no, absolutely not. Like most people, most normal people, and I say that with a certain level of self-deprecation, most normal people wouldn't do that because they've had relentless programming against that particular regime all the time. This is not talking about the individual merits of that regime, only talking about cultural messaging. Okay, YouTube policy?
Yeah.
So the people, just like you say, no, I would never join them, are actually just showing how compliant they are.
I see. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I hope we
I
dodged
think
the minefields around that particular issue.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, essentially, it just boils down to, how many people now, if something came up that, because again, it didn't start, with, summer camps and, land grabs. It started off as very much a democratic thing, same as everything else, and it eventually became what it became. If something sort of similar, it was like if it was something similar nowadays where there was this sort of slow creep into this area, and how far would people go? I'm reminded of a series that Darren Brown, I say series, it was like a one-off special that Darren Brown did called The Push, where it started off with this guy was at this party, like had been invited. It was like a networking event, and he was there to obviously work. But he was obviously like surrounded by actors and whatnot that he didn't realize. And just throughout the course of the show, it just starts off with like small little requests, small little things like that, and it gradually builds up and up and up and up and up to the point where he is essentially asked to kill a man. And he might go with it, he might not, but it is revealed that he wasn't the only person who was run through this experiment, and there were people that didn't, but there were people that did. And you have to ask it, and those people, if you ask those people before that, would they have done something, would they kill a man? Their natural response would be no, of course not. But with enough conditioning and enough sort of coercion by what you would perceive to be authority figures, or people with a sense of authority.
Mm.
Who knows how far you could go if you don't have the wherewithal to actually push back against what's happening. Adam loves
Yeah.
horror scene. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. I
We love a
highly
bit of
recommend.
Darren Brown back in the day.
Oh,
I
we
know he gets
absolutely.
hate, but gosh darn, he made interesting
Why
stuff.
does he get hate? He's brilliant.
I will put out there, like, he has been caught rigging a thing or two. He
Well, yeah, of
has,
course, yeah.
but
But I mean,
and
like,
not where he's. The thing with him is he was meant to say, I'm obviously cheating because I'm a magician, but I'm not cheating in these ways. And people have
okay,
said, kind of worked out, oh, I think you kind of cheated in those ways.
I
But
see.
this is not Darren Brown stream. I still like him, but yeah, and there's a lot you can get from. So I think one of the things he highlighted is that that authority thing. We really
Yeah.
should have Josh Furman be all over this. I should have approached him for this, but that thing instantly of. I mean, actually, before I go into that, TCG, sort of what stood out to you about the methods that Officer Daniels was using?
Well, again, as I say, I think back to that episode of The Push, where it does start off as somewhat simple requests at the beginning. Obviously bring her in the back, search her, very sort of like normal stuff. But he's also using a lot of like, I'd say, confidence scam. It's also confidence scam because he there's there's the insistence on being called officer or sir,
Yeah,
to establish his authority. There's the complimenting of Sandra. You're one of
yeah.
us. You're part of the team. You could be. You're going to have to do my job while I'm there.
He
It was
builds
very,
rapport.
yeah. Almost, gets a connection. And I tell you what, there's one bit, if you blink it, it's not blinking you miss it, but if you're paying attention, so he's getting information in the initial phone call, and I'm going to skip forward a little bit because Sandra turns around to Becky at one point. She's like, "Why have I got an officer on the phone who has said who's called you out by name and has a description, yada yada yada?" But if you rewind back and if you go and listen to what the initial conversation was, he gave a sort of a brief description, sort of generic, and then she goes, "Becky." And he goes,
Yeah,
Rebecca, that's right. We've got her down as Rebecca. She gave that information, which a lot
I'm
of
glad she
phishing,
caught that.
when it comes to phishing scams and things like that, that's the sort of tactics they'll deploy for it, to get information, go with sort of something vague, get the just to extract that information, and then he can go from there. So I thought that was a really nice little touch.
Really good. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
lots of cold reading throughout that. Like the
Yeah.
thing of he gets information like her brother was in trouble with the
Yeah.
police. We never learned what that was, but he sort of once he's got that which she volunteered, it's like he offers it up in a kind of cold reading way. So Becky, you don't have any family in trouble with the law? And she's like, oh, my brother? It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
And he gets details wrong a couple of times and then just manages to bluff through it.
Yeah.
And people just sort of smooth it over for him
It's like
because he's built the rapport.
Exactly. It's like when he's talking to, I think, is it Kevin? Kevin, the young lad who's a bit like, what are you talking about? I'm not doing that.
Where is my boy
remember his name.
Kevin?
But
It is Kevin, I think. This lad.
yes, when he talks about like the purse was stolen, he challenges back and he's like, "Oh, no, sorry, what I meant to say was it was money. It was snatched up," and he just sort of blags his way through it just to make him sound more convincing. But yeah, he's obviously got these like techniques that he's trying, and and it's almost like tried and tested methods to get people to sort of like stop thinking, basically. And yeah, it's essentially it is bog standard confidence trickster work plus a little bit of phishing as well. Again, sort of having working in the industries that I've worked in, like we hear a lot about this sort of stuff, and it was quite enlightening in a way to just sort of sit here and watch this guy work.
Mm.
And again, just to Sandra's, she is completely on board with it, no matter
Mm.
how absurd the requests was. I mean, at the point when he was like, "You should be strip searching this woman," like at that point, mate, come on, like you should be invoking, you should be pushing back. Becky should be, invoking her rights, all of that jazz. But you've got it's interesting because there's two layers of authority between you've got the police officer, and
Mm.
then you've got the regional manager who's there.
Yeah.
So she's got two layers. I mean, obviously the regional manager knows
And
nothing, but
well, yeah, she doesn't
she
even
thinks
speak to
everything.
him. She's just told he is.
Exactly, yeah. She doesn't challenge that. But
Mm.
then also with Becky, you've got two layers of authority because you've got her manager Sandra, and then you've also got Daniels on the phone. So you've effectively got these two authority figures at both levels
Mm.
telling you this is what you need to do, this is right, you can't challenge, you can't do this, you can't, you've got to comply, you have to listen to us, you have to respect this authority. And
Mm.
it just yeah, I mean, it from the outside looking in, it looks absurd, it looks ridiculous,
Mm.
but in that moment, I don't know, man, it's like, if you're told something confidently enough, you kind of you almost second guess yourself. Should I
You
challenge?
want
Should
to
I say
be
something?
help like you hint at, like, people want to be helpful, they want to go along. When something's awkward, unless
Mm,
you're against the person, you kind of want to smooth over. And the authority thing is also very powerful. We're going to talk about this many a time, I'm
yeah.
sure, but the Milgram experiments,
Mm,
we've got to bring them up, right?
yeah.
They are those super chats are amazing. We're going to get to those. Thank you. But just so I keep my train of thought, the Stanley Milgram experiments, you will have heard of them. At TCG, we talked about them before. Forgive me for repeating this. But that's the famous experiment you've heard of where a participant is convinced to deliver fatal electric shocks to someone they believe to be their partner in a trial. So they're sort of giving instructions to someone who they're told is their partner, who's in another room, and they can hear the audio. When they get something wrong, they're meant to give the person a shock, and the shocks increase in severity.
Mm.
And eventually, even when someone is just like not responding and passed out, and they're clicking the dial into a clearly labeled danger zone, they keep doing it. So
What was
you
it? The
probably have heard about this.
Stanford experiment as well? Was it that one
Oh, the
where they
Stanford
did
prison
prison
experiment. Yeah,
experiment?
another
Yeah.
one. Now, the interesting thing about the Milgram one, and one of the little details about it that's actually quite hopeful, is that he ran that many, many times, and he did little variations in it. This is a good experiment design. One of the things he found was incredibly helpful was if he put the psychiatrist in a lab coat.
Yeah.
So that uniform, that
Yeah.
position of authority. Oh,
Yeah.
and I think he had a variation where they had to say call them professor or call them
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah.
When they had to call them doctor and use a title, the compliance shoots up.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we get. Call me
Actually,
officer, call me sir.
you just mentioning that, actually, I've
Mm.
just literally just thought of. Do you remember the BBC show, The Real Hustle? Do you remember that?
I remembered the OG Hustle with
Yeah.
Robert Vaughan. I never
Oh no.
saw the Real
So
Hustle.
yeah. So the Real Hustle is basically like the real life equivalent of these like scams and techniques being put into effect. Um, and the amount that these guys got away with, these people got away with, unbelievable.
Mm.
So there was one that springs to mind, and they were basically they set up like this fake toll booth, right?
Mm.
And were getting people to pay money to get through the tolls and whatnot. Obviously, completely bunk. But all they did was have high vis jackets and a clipboard. That was it,
Mm.
and they just absolutely like laid it on thick. Um,
Mm.
and let's say, they were just confident in in scamming these individuals for this like
Mm.
£5 toll that, because you pay tolls, of course. Like if you're going somewhere, you
Yeah.
might have to pay a toll. It's normal. What might be the people wearing that might be wearing high vis jackets because they're dealing with dealing with traffic. They need to be seen. Or they got a clipboard.
Mm.
They might be taking note. Literally, just
Oh yeah,
simple stuff like
clipboard.
that. And they were and you can absolutely just rake it in. Yeah, but obviously there's all sorts of stuff they used to do. But a lot of but again, a lot of the techniques that they would use, you could sort of apply here, really, in
Mm.
this film. I have to
Yes.
ask, with the real life situation that this is
Mm.
based off, it didn't go this far, surely.
I've got very bad news for you on that front.
Oh no, it did, didn't it?
So like here on this, like Douglas Murray very quickly. Don't tell me you don't see it.
Get me Netanyahu. Get me Netanyahu on the phone right now.
Like
I need to go. I need to have another trip to Israel. I need to
you think
dunk on
it's?
Dave Smith.
Have you ever been?
Yeah, have you? I need to
Like
go
he
again,
very
mate.
quickly like gets her stripped and it's.
I'm laughing at the British, by the way. That is effective use of the British. That is ridiculous.
He's helping me out.
Yeah.
He's helping me out in some key scenes tonight. Yeah. So basically, if you haven't seen Compliance, basically it leads to someone being brought in to spank her, and
Yeah.
then she's convinced to. How shall I say?
I will have my one criticism
Hmm.
of this film is that you don't see how he convinces Van to go from spanking to that. It just
I
you pan
think that
away,
is a
you come
fair
back,
criticism because
and I
that
think
is itself quite a leap, but
yeah, and I think
I it is quite a leap, but I think I would. How can
I
I
mean,
say?
I would
I
say at
had
this
that
point,
problem too, but I also
yeah,
think it makes it clear, like, it's so far gone at this point
hmm,
that basically, yeah, like, she would never think that she would be stripping and spending the next 4 hours nude,
yeah. I
with,
mean,
like, randos
I mean,
watching
she's
her.
clearly broken at this point. Like,
Yeah, there's just I'm gonna try and find a few images of her face because this is Dreamer Walker is absolutely wonderful in this. This is just after she's I didn't find a euphemism. Basically, she gives oral sex to the guy
yeah,
after he spanks her. R.I.P. family friendly status. But it's not done in any way that you can enjoy what's happening. I don't know how sick a puppy you have to be, but there is nothing titillating about
no,
it. In fact, the framing of it is wonderful for just positioning it as like a painful distortion and a degrading distortion.
like
And she
even with
is
Van, it
just
doesn't. Yeah, even with Van, there's no sense
mm,
of there's no sense that he's getting any enjoyment out of it himself. It's almost like he's like, what the is going on as well, And I
mm,
think it's once he gets himself out of that situation, he phones his friend, like he realizes, like, oh my god, I think I've done something bad. Like, well, he
post
does. He
nut
says, I've done
clarity, he realizes it's gone way too bad, way too far.
massively, massively. But it's not like I'm
Mm.
not defending it. I'm not defending it,
No,
but
no,
it just
no.
and again with him, it's slightly different because he drove down to the chicken shop, but he was
Mm,
over the limit. And again, through this guy's techniques, he managed to glean that information from this man, and he used it against him in order to get him to comply. Like, if you don't do these things, you'll be in trouble. We wouldn't want that to happen now, would we? So it's probably best for you if you just go along with what I say for the time being. Yeah. And then we'll be good. So, I mean, I don't feel sorry for him at all. But yeah, I think
mm,
I should correct myself a little bit and to say there's probably a bit of self-preservation in there
mm.
when it comes to him because of that. But I don't think there is a sense of any sort of thrill for him at all or anything along those lines. He
You
knows
don't
he's
get
done
the
something wrong.
impression that he enjoyed it.
No,
Um,
I mean, he looked stunned afterwards, and I mean,
Like,
you know,
did that even happen? Like,
yeah, like
yeah.
what? Yeah, how did I get to how did I get in this situation? Or
Mm.
what's happened here? Like,
It's a very interesting part. I will make it even more depressing in a second and tell you how much further it went in. Actually, I'll do it now so I don't lose a thread, but then there are some lovely generous super chats I want to get to. So I'm very
yes,
sad to say that actually quite a few times if you follow the Wikipedia for this incident, and I'll show you the chap if you want to know who did this.
yeah, okay.
This is a guy convicted of one confirmed incident, but just coincidentally, once he was arrested, no more calls happened.
Huh, funny that.
Yeah. So he targeted a range of fast food restaurants and video rental stores. And in a few cases, it was reported that junior staff, almost always young women, but sometimes young boys, were coaxed into it. A few of them led to this kind of scenario where, yeah, they coerced into giving oral
Oh
sex.
my god! Wow.
In the video rental store, a 17-year-old was spanked by her manager. There are a couple of cases where it went all the way,
Nah,
just
mate, that is.
straight up. Yeah,
And it just goes to show you're looking at this film and it's like, mate, it's too absurd to be true. I mean, I
and
had no
yeah,
idea, and then it's like, actually, yeah. Unfortunately, the reality is there are people thick enough to fall for this kind of thing.
I
There are
feel that in a
people.
few cases it may have been a situation where they, maybe that was more of a dodgy individual who basically saw a situation where they had the power,
Yeah,
and a power over a pretty young employee, and they basically, I don't want to use the phrase it went to their head, but their own instincts sort of made them more willing to take part in it. Like he was giving them license to do it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
so I'm
again,
afraid to
like,
say this, they
what
could
the
have
fuck?
gone further with this. Now, thank you ever so much for being patient, Distant Night, once again supporting the stream, being a channel member, and very, very helpfully providing the screen caps. Always supportive and always appreciated. Thank you so much for sending 50 Aussie dollars saying, "Shut up, Bonnie." Hey, ass face. As ever, I'm going to shame you lot into compliance. Distant Night liked Shane. He supported me. Shame you lot into compliance of being like Adam, and Gibbs our chew. Yes, support. Send Gibbs. Give Gibbs. You give Gibbs now. Yes, Daniels is very medium-esque with his nudge technique. I might have to leave the room at one point to get a book
Okay.
to reference it. I'll be very on point. Thank you so much, just like generous and supportive as ever, and I certainly welcome super chats. You know that. Adam Loves Horror has also been very patient, sending $10 and saying, "And doubt is a flip side of this. The caller makes her feel important, giving her purpose in her otherwise mundane and non-purposeful life." True. She complies with the caller because he plays with her psyche.
Mhm,
Very, very true. Very on the money. What does
mhm.
this open with? Like the title there, compliance, turns out to be over a load of dirty snow. Load of dirty snow. Look at this just totally unromantic image. I was trying to work out what this image was. What is the deeper meaning of this? Anyone who can decipher this, I would love to know. That has been bothering me. What that image that we're shown early on is meant to mean. But we start off with a film. She just basically gets a rollicking from a delivery guy saying basically, "You screwed up, left the freezer open, now your bacon's ruined."
Yeah.
So she's just getting dressed down. She's really being talked to in a very disrespectful manner. You can tell she's sort of, her ego is not being hugely flattered by the work. There's even an excruciatingly cringe bit of comedy where she tries to show how cool she is when she's talking with Marty and Becky.
Oh
And
yeah.
she basically, Becky's getting flirty photos, and she's like, basically, basically trying to talk about how her fiance, he's going to be her fiance, knows how to push her buttons, etc. And it's just very awkward. It's very The Office, isn't it?
Yeah, but
How'd you
without
like
the
that bit?
comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But basically,
she yeah, she gives off the vibe like she wants to like she feels like she's somebody important, but like
mm,
that that energy isn't shared with her colleagues. Like
yeah,
no one really has that level of respect for her. It's almost
she's a
like,
nice enough person, but
yeah, she seems
sorry, I
nice.
talked over you there. I
No, no,
talked
no. I
over
was gonna
you.
say, yeah, no, she seems nice, but it's just seems a bit airheaded.
Yeah, yeah, she's not respected. She doesn't feel she's at the status she's got.
And
You
the
get the
status that she
feel
has
that
got, she feels like
she
it's
has
being
got,
given.
and you also feel like she does look down, like she's not happy with Van.
Mm,
Van is her boyfriend who's meant to be her fiance, but you get the feeling that she just talks down to him and kind of scolds him like a child. I really
yeah.
noticed that she treats him like a child, and it
Mm,
was like he ends up he's also himself quite compliant because he puts up with it and even basically asks her permission, like, "Can I go for a
yeah,
beer with my friends?" Like,
that's right.
so
That's
yeah,
right.
he
That's a good
he
spot,
takes
actually. Yeah,
instruction, all right.
yeah,
But th- so with Adam's comment, yeah, Officer Daniels gives her license and respect and authority and assures her she's doing the right thing and gives her a chance to have control. And you see, she really kind of relishes it.
mm,
She becomes a person correctly applying procedure.
yeah.
And
I mean,
call me a very horrible person, TCG. Tell me I'm breaching HR mandates, but I'm going to say that is a very gendered phenomenon in my
maybe,
experience.
maybe. But yeah, I mean, she gets to a point
Mm.
where she's not even questioning it anymore. She's just,
She has a go at people for not for questioning it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh man, I'm the only one doing anything right round here.
yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna tell
yeah.
you a real life story, TCG,
Go for it.
to illustrate this point. Um, so Little Horror Show, being the age she is, you can imagine she brings all sorts of bugs home, right? And so because of this, she generously shares them with me. And I managed to go over my sick day allowance this year. And so I'm trying to keep this as concise as possible. So my line manager says, "Hey, you exceeded your sick days. We now have to have a meeting about that."
Mm,
And I say, "Oh, what's going on there?" And she says, it's policy, but you've got a set number. If you exceed it, we have to review it to see if there's anything wrong." I don't think there's anything wrong. I've looked at, it's fine. You've got a young kid. This is normal, and
mm.
it's never a problem for you. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Do we need the meeting then? She says, yes. I say, but you just said you're not concerned and you're not gonna request any action. So like, why are we doing this?
Mm.
She says, because it's policy. We have to have a meeting. I said, but we know the outcome. Can you just say we did it? No.
It
So
has to
she
be
booked it,
documented. Yeah,
and we had a meeting where she told me it was fine and she had no concerns and there was no action and I didn't have to fill the form in out. All
brilliant.
right. Are we good? Yeah.
We're good
And
now.
yeah,
We
7
followed
minutes later we
procedure.
left.
Yeah, we followed procedure. I mean,
And
I am a
it's that kind
yeah,
of thing where I just want to uh, I just want to say, like, can we be adults here?
yeah.
Can we why are we doing this?
Mm. I mean,
But I'm very sorry to
I
say,
will say,
quite a certain type of person will
yeah. I mean,
never break procedure.
I love it now because I am quite a processes and procedures guy, but
Mm,
they have to make sense. And if they don't, I will always. I mean, when I first started my job, which was nearly 10 years ago now,
mm,
the first thing I came across was one of the process that we did to verify information, and I looked at it and I was
mm.
like, that ain't right. That ain't right. And within 3 months of being there, managed to like get it all changed so that it made sense and it was justified. And like fast forward now, I'm working in areas now where that is what we do now. It's got to make sense. It has to be, you know, common sense has to prevail. If you're doing something for the sake of doing something, then there's really no point in doing it. Like that example you've just given. You know, they could maybe I don't know how you work it, but in terms of absences, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Bradford factor. If that's how
No,
they
no, help us out.
so
What's
yeah,
that?
so basically the Bradford factor way of working in terms of absences is you take the number of days, or sorry, the number of occasions, I believe it is, and then you multiply that by itself, and then you multiply it by the number of days, and that will give you a Bradford factor. So, for example,
Got you.
you can have one occasion where you've had 5 days off. Your Bradford factor score will be 5. But then if you have 5 single days off for sickness, that is, well, not single, otherwise, that would then equate to 125. So if you had a week off, let's say, but it was only the once in that year, no one's going to look at you because, you know, that was 1 week, you know, that those things happen. But if you're having you know, the odd day off here, there, and, you know, it's, you know, it racks up quicker and it can sort of
Can
alert
see
to a
that,
pattern of
yeah.
behavior. And so, yeah, but then I've worked in places where if you had 2 absences, regardless of the length or whatever, they, you'd get hauled in. So it's like, you know, what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And,
Absolutely.
you know, and again, it's
Policy is good at scale, but
yeah,
it's there. I feel like it's
the,
there if you
the
are not
thing,
confident in
yeah,
making a decision.
yeah, the thing, yeah, exactly. The thing that can inhibit process and procedure is a lack of discretion. In the example you gave, discretion could have easily been applied in that scenario. You know,
Oh,
a
yeah.
mitigating factor. It doesn't involve a conversation necessarily. You've already had the conversation. There's no concerns. You know, there should be mitigating factors that can allow discretion to then just, you know, we don't need to do this. It doesn't need to be done. I've already had the chat. It's fine. Yada, 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 move on.
Yeah.
You know, a manager should have the authority in certain circumstances to be able to make those decisions. Um, but I just want to circle back to this film again. She doesn't question anything because as soon as she's told it's procedure, she just blindly follows it.
Yeah.
And you know, in that example, you know, in the example of this film, when she is told, "Well, you need to strip search this woman down," she could have easily turned around and said no. Because like, what is he going to do? What, you're going to turn up and arrest her? Well, that's your job anyway as a police officer. You know, why am I having to do it?
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you sure this is process? Are you sure this is the correct procedure? I'll tell you, why don't I phone? You know, why don't you put my regional manager on the phone and we'll have a chat with, and I'll have a chat with him. Oh, you
Yeah.
can't. Oh, then we've just saved ourselves about an hour of this film.
You see
But she,
I'm like, you see,
but
that
she
is
doesn't do it.
the
Yeah,
reaction I want to have. And
yeah,
I almost raise it as a flaw. Like, surely she would say, because she likes the process, surely she would say, look, I need to speak to my regional
yeah.
manager just to confirm and see what he wants me to do with this. Like, if I were her, I'd be thinking,
But there are people.
I don't want to own this decision.
Yeah,
And
but
I
that.
noticed
Yeah,
explicitly that Officer Daniel says, I own it, I'm responsible,
yeah,
which I
yeah.
think
It's
made
taking that,
her
but yeah,
feel more confident that she could go along
exactly.
with it. But
Yeah, no, absolutely, exactly. But unfortunately, what it
mm,
shows is there are people out there, and actually, if this, you know, bearing in mind this is based on real life scenario, you know, real life
mm,
scenario, it just shows that there are people out there that are just completely unwilling to take ownership, even if the burden has been lifted off of them. The fact that they can't question themselves,
mm,
yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like again, you know, a common sense would tell you that something ain't right here. Why am I having to strip down a
yeah.
colleague? Why, you know? But I'll get someone, you know. Then she does the thing where, oh, we'll get Marty in, so we've got 2 senior members of staff. So she sort of, do you know what I mean? She's working through
We've
the
got
inner
a
processes. Like if it
process.
was if it
Yeah.
was a disciplinary meeting, you'd have 2 people in there, you know, one documenting, one asking questions, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so
That's why
she's
it's
applying
fine.
that
It's like,
logic. She's applying that
mm,
logic to stripping down another member of staff because some alleged police officers telling you over the phone,
yeah.
like they can't detain her at all. Like, you know,
There's no
she's
rights for it. And
exactly, yeah. But it's just
it's never. It's never
Oh,
put in that
it's
framework. It's like, oh, horrible thing, I'll have to log her I'll have to arrest her and she'll be in all weekend, it'll be awful. Or you can just do this little thing and make it go away.
yeah,
That's
and
one of the
another
persuasion techniques she uses.
and another
Mm,
sort of scam technique I noticed as well that he was using was the time was the urgency, the time, time
yeah.
sensitivity, when he was like, this is a time sensitive matter where it's really important that we get this done now, and it's like, oh mate, these are
Mm,
such classic scam techniques, man. And you're falling
yeah.
for it, but the thing is, it really is so prevalent, and oh man, it grinds my gears, but so many
Mm,
people fall for it because again, as soon as they see someone with a high vis give an order, most people fall into line,
yeah.
even if
Like,
it doesn't sound right.
God, as much as we're saying, like, why didn't they just ask? Why didn't they? The reality, as you said,
Yeah, it's
this
the thing.
happened.
Yeah, I mean,
Th-
what
this actually happened.
watching this film, right? You'd think
Mm,
someone who isn't familiar with like the scams and things like that, but would sort of have the
mm,
wherewithal, to sort of like think something ain't right. Watch a film like this, and you think, oh my god, this is just
mm,
absolutely absurd. How can someone fall into this? But having the experience that I've had over the last 10 years, 20 years, even nearly, people
mm.
do fall for it, and they fall for it spectacularly, and they will not ask questions. And if you challenge them, they will absolutely hunker down and tell you that you are wrong, and that
Mm,
it's
yeah,
totally legitimate. I've got the pictures to prove it. Yep, doesn't matter if there's about 35,000 images on Google that show the same thing. This is the one true thing. Ah
mm,
man, it can be heartbreaking. Genuinely is heartbreaking that so many people, and she's an older woman as well.
yeah.
And again,
There's a trust in authority there that is maybe more natural in better times, but
mm,
yeah, she goes along with it. Adam Lasara sent this in. He'll be off in his work
very
now, so I
nice.
hope he rewatches the rest of it. I want to say massive thanks, Adam. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you managed to make a bit of it. And saying, yeah, amazing. Using the 2-year member chat. Absolutely fantastic. What a star. 2 years of goodness. Back to work. Thanks for doing this. You are super welcome. Thank you for your support.
You're a
And I
legend,
hope you
Adam.
enjoy the rest of the stream. We are going into further bad taste jokes, but also high class references. You know what, TCG, can you hold the fort? I'm going to get my book.
Hang on a
I'll
minute.
be a minute.
Hang on, hang on. Is this a
You want
test?
you
Is this
you
a
have
test?
it. It's really important. I get the book. Just call me sir, and I'll be back in like 10
Uh,
seconds.
it's ma'am.
If I say it is ma'am, it's going to get clipped, and I'll be in all sorts of trouble. So, on that bombshell, I'm going to go and get my book.
All right, no worries. Okay, so what do we got going on, chat? Let's have a quick look at what we're saying. Bradford factor, fake postal votes, Joe. Not quite, not quite. Lakutaku, they should just tell him that police will search him when they can. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's such an easy thing to dismiss and to say, look, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting involved. Look, that's out of my pay. That's part, beyond my pay grade. You can deal with that. At the very least, I'll hold on to her until the authorities turn up and do the job, which of course they're not going to do, but absolutely could do. Also, she's undoubtedly the least culpable, but the girl herself is also guilty of being too compliant. It still amazes me that millions of people are willing to be e-strip searched to board a plane. Indeed. Realistic or
Yeah.
not, I still despise Sandra. Yeah, there's the thing is, there's no like there is an argument to be made that she is a victim of sorts in this film, but
Mm,
I absolutely do not sympathize with her in any way, shape, or form. She should, again, she should absolutely have pushed back, and she didn't. She failed to do that, and she essentially was culpable in what transpired. I mean, who in their right mind thinks, okay, Kevin obviously isn't going to comply with the officer, so what I will do is I'll get my half-cut boyfriend to turn up,
mm,
who probably doesn't even have authority to be in the back rooms anyway. unauthorized access areas. But don't worry, because Daniel says it's okay, I'll do that, and leave a man unattended with a
I
with a
mean,
naked woman. Like,
he knew what he was
what's going
doing,
on?
requesting a dude.
Exactly,
He
100%,
really knew.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you for holding it. I mean, on the sympathy for Sandra, I'm with you. She definitely was pushed into it, and she is probably just someone who psychologically is not well placed to resist. But the fact that she basically, we kind of see that she has actually convinced herself that she did no wrong. Like, even
Yeah.
when she's shown video evidence at the end. Let's get that screen cap.
Oh yeah, the bit where when she's
She
like,
just
no, she was never
basically
naked
is
in my
like,
presence. Yeah.
Where is it? You've shown this, like, yeah, even with video evidence, she's just like, no. This is one of the bleakest things in here, is just that people will be able to rewrite their own mental histories.
And again,
You
it's
can never convince them.
yeah,
Like,
it seems
yeah,
absurd, but it is believable. I've seen it firsthand.
yeah,
I've literally worked
yeah.
in, one of my last days at one of my jobs,
Mm.
we stopped someone from losing about 25 grand because
Mm.
they would not have it that they were being scammed. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah.
You know.
Lucky's asking, what does that interview at the end mean? Well, I'll just give my answer quickly, but TCG, do let me know your takes on it. I
Okay.
think it is about showing the capacity for lack of reflection and lack of learning. It is an incredibly bleak scene showing that even after she was scammed, Sandra refused to learn. She refused to take responsibility. She wanted to stick with being in a process. She wanted to deny evidence, and she was capable of mentally, as Dr. Prepper says, self-gaslighting. She managed to reconvince herself that actually it was all fine because the cognitive dissonance. See, I can see chat is just, you're too smart, chat. I can't teach you anything. The cognitive dissonance is too painful, so she writes it over. And even with the video evidence of her totally failing and aiding in a violation of Becky, she basically manages to just make chit chat with the interviewer. She manages to just go on to, just like she did with Officer Daniels, she was able to make polite chit chat and just make it casual, like she had mentally divorced herself from the situation. That's like one of the bleakest things in the whole darn film. Absolutely.
Sorry,
horrendous.
TCL just burst in. Just
Burst in, dropped gamer words, left, refused to elaborate.
Yeah,
Absolute legend. What's your take on it, TCG? What's this interview all about, if you're free?
Yeah, I think it's just her coping, like just huffing massive amounts of copium. Like she absolutely refused. I think, yeah, like you say, cognitive dissonance. She's in absolute denial that she's actually done anything wrong. Like, yeah, just 100% huffing copium.
Yeah. I'm gonna get the book I went for. Right, is this gonna flip it?
Oh,
come on, show me it. Come on, no, show the book. This is a book. I support the
free
book.
your mind. Free your mind.
There we go. Look, I'm going to hold it at a weird angle. Surely, why can't I show you the book?
Because it's not a face, that's why.
There you go. That's the book.
Oh, there you go.
Those are the authors. Look at it. You can read. Come on. All right. You've seen enough of it. It's free. I assure you, it's Free Your Mind by Laura Dodsworth and Patrick Fagan. It is a fantastic book about basically a primer on manipulation of the public attitudes, ways you can be manipulated in scams, by psychological operations, by marketing. All the kind of tricks that Officer Daniels uses are talked about in this book. It is really entertaining. It it flirts with being somewhat controversial. I would say it sort of stays out of the real danger zones, but it is nevertheless a very interesting book that basically tells you not to go with things. So yeah, highly recommended and very informative and relevant to this. So if you want to understand compliance, I recommend this book quite a lot. It's very good. One of the things it talks about is something that I thought we see a lot is I don't think we mentioned, but the escalation. You make a small ask. Can you just pull Becky in there? Well, can you pull the employee in? Okay, can you hold her? Can I talk to her? Little things like you wouldn't even think, but can you pass the phone to her? Can you get it back? Like you're doing small orders. Can you call me officer or call me sir? Like these tiny, tiny things you don't even realize. But when you go with those, you are starting a sort of chain and building it up, starting a pattern of complying.
Yes.
And then I'll search your bag, then I'll
Yeah.
search your badge. It just keeps going.
Yeah, I'll search your pocket, then I'll search your pocket. Again, I refer back to the push, Darren Brown. I think it's all on YouTube. You can go and watch it all on YouTube, I believe, or if not, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can watch it on YouTube. That is exactly the same sort of pattern of behavior that the subjects experience throughout the episode. It is that gradual escalation. It starts off, I think one of the first sort of things that you think, oh, hang on a minute, you know, you could question that, is sausage rolls. So the guy, you know, the main caterer, he's out there, he's got two there's two plates of sausage rolls, right? One with, you know, one meat ones, one vegetarian ones. Oh, would you believe it? But the vegetarian ones haven't arrived. So he turns around to the guy and he's like, you know, after a few sort of like, you know, can you just sort of say hello to that person? Can you shake this person's hand? Can you come with me in the back? Can you help me? We've got a problem. They've got no vegetarian sausage rolls. Help me plate up the sausage rolls on the vegetarian one. They won't know the difference. It's fine. Don't worry. Trust me. Guy does it. You know, sort of a bit like, oh, should I do that? He ends up doing it.
Yeah.
You know,
a little thing, do a little thing, and then you're already in.
Yeah.
It's how it happens. Like,
yeah,
if
honestly,
Sandra had been told, I want you to strip search Becky immediately,
oh, then yeah, it would have absolutely been no.
not a chance.
It's a gradual thing. It is absolutely, like you said, it is a form of psychological conditioning. You know.
Yeah, and I will. I tell you, we won't do this too much because I don't want this to be like pigeonholed into like particular slot.
Oh, I'd like to do so.
Topics.
Chat, can you do me a favor? Can you just hit
God.
the like button, and then can you subscribe to the channel? Can you also share this with people that you think might be interested in horror films?
Yeah.
And then maybe
First
can
liking.
you know, do, you know, maybe canvass your street, knock on the doors, and ask people if they've heard of Proper Horror Show. Maybe ask them to subscribe. And while you're there, go into their home, force yourself in, put the kettle on, make yourself comfortable, take over the home, kick them out.
Yeah,
Squatters' rights are yours.
easy,
Absolutely fine. Yeah.
easy.
Then set up base, recruit new cult members.
Oh,
Spread the word. Proper Horror Show world domination. Overthrow
Boy,
the
that
government.
sure escalated quickly.
Oh no.
This book, which may or may not be unblurred, is looking good so far. Free your mind. Laura Dodsworth, Patrick Fagan. It gives an example for this sort of the small ask that leads to the big ask. It gave the example of an occasion about 6 years ago, we're all told that for 2 weeks there'd be a total lockdown. Just 2 weeks, though. Just 2 weeks. And this book makes it now, I don't want to go too far down that road, you know. It's probably been talked to death, but when I was watching that broadcast in the home, I was like, it's not 2 weeks. That's BS. I knew it. And sure enough, you said, oh, that's kind of crazy, but it's only 2 weeks. And that, as this book demonstrates, was very deliberate. Small ask, and it was only the way to the big ask. If they'd said a year from the start, not a chance. But people want to help out. An authority figure says 2-week lockdown. It was always a way to do a bigger thing.
Yeah. I mean, they openly admitted it themselves, didn't they? When they said they saw other countries like China do it, and then once they saw Italy do it, I think it was Italy were one of the first in Europe to lock down. And then when they realized actually, the population are actually paying attention and complying with the orders, it just spread. It spread out at that point. I mean, it's interesting to think that Sweden, of all countries, was one of the few that was like, not doing that. Sort of questioned it, and
unexpected Swedes.
Yeah. But they did do that. We didn't. And I think there is a element too, because I think Adam mentioned it to say that he was initially compliant, and I don't think there's anything wrong with initially sort of going with what they were saying, because to an extent I was. I mean, when it sort of first happening, because obviously you had all the I don't know if you remember that far back, but the initial images and videos that were coming out were just
it
horrific.
Was made to look very, very scary.
And it was one of those things where okay, well, if we have to lock down for 2 weeks, it's kind of like, okay, it's not ideal, but let's just see what happens. And then it was after that, and it was like, now we've got to do it again. I was like, nah, this is taking the piss. And it was at that point, it was all like, step out, no, like this, no, resist.
I mean, I think it's, and I don't particularly mind staying at home, and let's put it that way. But
no, I mean,
when it came to other things, I don't want to do a Sandra here and say, oh yeah, I never did anything. Like,
no,
I wore a mask a few times because I didn't want to get shouted at. But I think after the first, I think I only did that for about a couple of weeks, and now I sort of got my spine and just decided, no, I'm not doing it. And I did get kicked out of a lot of shops.
Did you?
But
I mean, I'm a bit of a hermit
a
anyway,
lot of the time I was told, sorry,
Yeah.
you need to do it. I'll be, oh, I'll do it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And just carried on, and like no one stopped me, and they already had the self-scan checkout. So
yeah, but it's funny though, because
we won't serve you. So
it is funny though, because again, you sort of think if this was to roll around now, while this was all fresh in everybody's minds, a lot of people sort of say, "Oh no, I wouldn't go with it all again." But they say that. But when push comes to shove, how would they behave in this sort of scenario if it was to repeat itself? Because essentially the damage has been done. There's still people nowadays. I still see it when I walk around. They're still wearing their masks.
Oh yes,
they're still keeping their distance. It in some cases it's really done damage to people psychologically, and that it's put the fear of God in them forever, because it's never going to go away. It's always around, but we've just got to learn to live with it. Well, okay, I can learn to live with it, but other people will be like, I can't learn to live with it. I have to keep masking up. I have to keep my distance. I have to keep, over applying the bloody hand sanitizers. It's really, it's really. I think history will look back at this time and look back at that time in not a very positive light, I think. But I think
these
is doomed to repeat itself.
They would never have been members of the NSDAP, right? Right, TCG.
But
I'll wear the mask. I won't apply the gas.
Yeah. But
stream wasn't going to get monetized anyway. It's fine.
Nah.
It's fine. I saw a video just like a few months ago of this like Chinese American student who was masking still.
Right.
I was like really kicking up a fuss over being asked by her lecturer to lower the mask, because a lecturer who didn't have English as a first language UK
Yeah.
problems, am I right, guys?
Yeah.
It was like, I need to see your lips. My hearing is bad. I need to see your lips so I can understand you. And the student is like absolutely kicking off over it. And it's like, it's 2026, love.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But they are Sandra
yeah,
in that they are
and
completely justified.
I will, and
Even
I'll say a little bit from my own personal life. I have family members who actually, I'm not going to go down that route. I'll give you a different story because in this stream I did plan that I'd have one or two real world examples I'd talk about.
okay.
So it's like on the whole 2026 factor. My church, when they do communion, still gives out a warning, like if you are that well, look, they used to say if you're COVID cautious and you don't want to drink from the cup, so
Yeah.
you have a common cup, as they call it, with the wine. So they say if you're COVID cautious, you don't have to drink from the cup. You can just have the wafer, uh, and that is just as valid. I'm like, okay. Now remember, formerly they were not doing services at all, right?
Mm.
So they shut down, and then it was if you're COVID cautious, you can just have a wafer. And just like over the last few years, they just started saying if you're just cautious about sharing, so they dropped the C
Yeah.
word totally. If you're just cautious, you can still just have a wafer. And then only recently it's just totally dropped. And it's like, yeah, we never said that. It just
I thought
doesn't get brought up anymore. And it's like,
I thought you were going to say that the vicar was like, actually, no, none of you are having the wine. It's all mine. Just have your wafers and bugger off.
oh no, and I've poured it all. Well, you know the vicar does have to consume it all.
Does he?
Yes.
Good
Well,
man.
okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. I'm going to take that back
So
because I
much
know
blood of Christ.
traditionally, I always see the vicar to make sure that all the wine is consumed at the end of communion. But it is very common for churches to have a specific little disposal sink at the back of the high altar that you can dispose communion wine into
Right.
that goes directly into sacred ground. And it's a
Oh,
special name that I've forgotten.
that's interesting.
Never mind. But yeah, on the kind of on the Sandra
It's not.
thing, I will say
I
like
was
I
going
have
to say
family members who tell me now
it's not
who like
Jeremy. It's not Jeremy's basement drain, is it?
it's not Jeremy's
I
basement
just
drain.
peed in my basement.
Yeah,
I was
I have
drinking
family
communion
members who
wine.
went along with absolutely everything on it, and I'm talking like
Yeah.
bless them, love them. That
Yeah.
they had like the 5 or 6 of the top up shots, and then tell me like, oh, I thought it was a bit silly.
Yeah.
I thought it went a bit too far. I'm like,
Yeah. I think when
you went along with everything. What are you
yeah.
doing?
Yeah. Well, I've made no secret in the past. I have been jabbed. I have been marked thrice. But there were reasons for that I won't go into. But I did draw the line, and I also have, there were other red lines that I was not prepared to cross, involving others.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was total compliance. It was just a really weird time.
It was
It
a
was just
weird
a really
time, and
weird
there were
time.
huge pressures put on people.
Yeah, 100%.
And I will say, like, for a lot of it, what you are able to do depends on your situation. And I'll just put this out, like, this is a really good lead in, maybe, for Lawrence's question. What do you think about Becky's culpability?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because we can sit there and criticize Sandra, absolutely. Again, though, there is. I wouldn't say she was culpable, but there was a sense of powerlessness, and I think that only grew as the film went on to the point where, when she stuck with Van, like she's completely powerless at that point. It's almost like she's just given up the ghost, and she'll just go along with it. Just to, I don't know, in the hopes that maybe that just one more request, that'll be it. Again, which is why, you know, not in a
She's
weird way,
promised to
but
do this one thing and it's all over.
like literally when
And
they
it
talk about
never
the strip, when it
happens.
talks about the strip search, you do this and it'll be all over. That's it. And then it just escalates and escalates and escalates and escalates.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I'm never getting out of this situation. So, I mean,
She's
but again,
broken down at that point.
100%. And this is why I say, you know, and again, not in a weird way, but it would have been interesting to learn how they went from the spank to the to the
Full service.
to the flute playing, you know.
Yeah.
See the flute playing bit, because it just it boggles the mind. But again, if it happened in real life, if it actually got that far in real life, like how, you know, I don't think, I don't think that she is culpable, as such. I don't think it would be fair to assign some responsibility or any responsibility to her. She is 100% the victim in this. Could she have challenged? 100%. Should she have challenged? 1000%. But again, it's easy to say that when you're an outsider looking in. You know, there is an obvious power structure that she's going through. She's already worried about losing her job anyway because of the whole freezer. Because again, I don't really touched upon that, but the freezer, yeah, we did. The freezer door was left open, so she was already worried that her boss was going to sack her for that, even though she wasn't responsible. So, you know, she would probably be more inclined to go along with Sandra if it means that her job is kept, you know, if her job is secured. So there's these external and internal pressures that are going on, which probably contributes to her, contributes to the decisions that she makes, and for want of a better word, willingness to comply.
Yeah, I think that is a very, very good balanced answer. The language about this is hard to get to without making it sound like you're attacking her.
Yeah.
And I think you did a very good job there. Like, in the actual context of the situation, it's hard to know what you would do. And if she could be more obstinate, and she might have, but it's a very rare person who can just say flat out, no. We got to remember, in the real life thing, most of the time it did not work.
Yeah.
A lot of people said no, but some people didn't. And I think a lot of that to do, like, to bring it back to, I might be sounding too soft and liberal here, so let me bring it back to full on prejudice again. A lot of people will be psychologically incapable of being obstinate enough. You know, I'm sure we've all heard of the big 5 personality traits. It's a lot of women particularly will be high in agreeableness and struggle. High in agreeableness, high in conscientiousness. They're not going to be psychologically capable of saying no. It's extremely notable that the people who kick off and are willing to reject it are chaps, especially an older chap that is very, like, true to reality. Yeah, it's just like good persuasion technique is deployed in her, and she doesn't have psychological defenses, you know, as most people don't, you know. We've probably given enough examples of just how easy it is for people to get scammed, but maybe let's go with another one. I mean, we've got to bring this up, the old Ash experiments. Race as well. Race is a factor. Age is a factor. All sorts of it. I mean, you can imagine, folks, in my personal and professional life, you may have detected and not be surprised that I am actually quite low in conscientiousness and agreeableness. I am someone who will frequently say a policy is stupid and we shouldn't. I will try and persuade people that there is no benefit to doing policy and we should not. I'm very fond of saying, we shouldn't follow procedure for procedure's sake. Most people find it very psychologically comforting to just go along with it. It is a frustration to me, but most people aren't like me, and they want to have that feeling of comfort that they are doing the right thing. I'm trying not to it's easy for me to say, oh, like, most people are sheeple. But in reality, most people want that assurance of knowing they're doing the right thing. And if you're following procedure, it probably is correct. And even if it's a bit silly, is it that harmful? And also, isn't it better to set the precedent of following it? Because if everyone is unpredictable, doing their own thing, it could be chaotic and, who knows what's happened. There are all sorts of good reasons why you would be generally compliant, but it does have its flaws as well. So one of our, we mentioned the Milgram experiments earlier, and I think I've said this already, but one of the interesting findings from it is that whilst people are generally compliant, there was one thing that tended to trigger them and make them flip and make them start going uncompliant, and that they couldn't get them back. And this thing is when they were told, you have no choice, you just have to do it. When that was brought out, a hell of a lot of people said, oh, actually, I do have a choice. Screw you. I'm not doing it. You can listen to, there's a guy I remember, he's got a great classic American accent. So, no choice? Screw you. How about that? Hey, I can hear him now. When he was told he didn't have a choice, he made a choice. So
and that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry to jump in there, but again, when Daniel speaks to Becky at one point, when he doesn't say you've got no choice at one point, he's like, you have two choices. You either go along with it or you go to jail.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's your those are your choices. Which one will you pick? I can't recall him saying there is no choice, you have to do this.
No, he's just like, it's horrible, awful choice, or this little thing, and we can have it all done really quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what nudges her over and over again and just breaks it. Like she's fearing a big punishment, and that just leads her down to doing horrible, horrible things. You think she'd stop after the strip search and being made to wait naked for ages, but she doesn't. And where is it?
It is just breaking her down. It's simply just like the psychological breakdown. I mean, she's already been humiliated. She's been humiliated, in front of like colleagues, and it's not just Sandra and Marty, but it's also Kevin, because Kevin sees her like that. And of course you've got Van, multiple people are seeing her in this state of undress and this state of vulnerability. It's just constant, humiliation. You put yourself in this position because you stole money. She didn't. Spoiler alert. But
that becomes like totally accepted as a fact. Like she even stops protesting it at one point.
Yeah,
I half expected her to confess to taking the money.
Yeah, like a false confession. Like a false confession. Because again, that's a common thing as well. When people just go along with it because they think it will get them. It will lessen the sort of severity of the allegation.
Yeah.
They just think, oh, fine, okay, I'll go along with it. What do you want me to say?
Totally. Many person caught by that. By the way, I love the shot. It is so dehumanizing.
Oh, it's just
it's horrible, and
it's horrible.
Forgive me, like you can almost see the glee in Officer Daniel's face when he's like, I'll make her do jumping jacks.
Yeah, and again, it's just absurd, isn't it? But it's just
she does it, and it's awful.
Bloody, oh no, pressure.
I had fun with this,
but yeah,
I can't show the actual jumping jacks, but
no, but
British got me covered.
But again, it sounds absurd, but he provides a justification for it, which again, is ridiculous. Oh, do the jumping jacks, so the money falls out. It's like, oh my God, like what the fuck? But
it is ridiculous. But at that point, they are so far in, they are just doing it by default. So there's a couple of super chats from Distant Night. I just want to see if they make sense. Right, good. Okay, I'll get to that in a second, actually, because the other thing I want to bring in was, well, we're talking about what lets you resist, and one of them. By the way, folks, if you wanted an extremely close textual reading of compliance, I'm very sorry, but it's too fascinating. It's too fascinating. We are praising it, and the issues and techniques it raises, we are applying in a broader context with references, which may not be exactly what you wanted tonight. But gosh darn it, this film was so darn interesting. I can't talk about it any other way, TCG.
It's believable because it's so unbelievable.
Yeah.
And again,
have you heard of the? Sorry, man. Have you heard of the Ash experiments?
I haven't. No.
Right, lovely. So this might be helpful, and this brings us to our boy Kevin, and later the guy. Do you want to see Kevin?
Yeah. Kevin's a good lad.
This
Even
I
she's
also
like
she didn't give a.
Yeah.
This
like
girl does not give a hoot. She
not
got her
compliant.
nails did.
Yeah. Sorry, not compliant, but again, she doesn't want to challenge authority. She's minor part, but what she says is really interesting. She's just like, I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to get involved. I'm not like she doesn't. It's not like she's complying with like what's happening or accepting what's happening. She just doesn't want to challenge that authority.
Strategically apathetic.
Yeah. She doesn't want to risk her own safety, if you will, or like her own freedom. She just wants. She's like, look, whatever's going on in that room, keep me out of it. I want nothing to do with it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, that is very relevant to what Distant Night is super chatted, which we'll get onto. So the Ash experiments, and you guys may have heard Josh Firm talk about them. He will do a better job than I can. But that was a series of experiments about compliance. And they set up scenarios where people didn't know that they were being tested, or they were in a situation where basically they were the only real person in the room. Everyone else was a shemp, a plant, right? So one of these examples is like they're in a room that's slowly filled with smoke, but everyone else who are actors and in on it just did nothing, didn't react, and ignored the smoke.
Okay.
And most people stayed as a room slowly filled with smoke. The other one that maybe is better known is
it the stand up, sit down?
No, but I think that's part of it. It was the one where they're asked to say which line was longer. So they're sitting in a group looking at a screen, and their task is very simple. We'll show you two lines. You say which line is longer. And they sit in the middle, and they have to listen to about 3 of these actors deliberately give the wrong answer.
Okay.
And most of them then go ahead. I think it's like 80% went ahead and gave the wrong answer too.
Amazing.
Now, that one is fairly low stakes. I mean, what does it really matter? You're in a psychology experiment. You're getting paid whatever. Who cares? Yeah, you give the wrong answer. But it's a weird thing to do. You don't really have anything to gain from it, but people wanted to be compliant. They wanted to fit in with the group. Very handily and optimistically. And also is recounted in the excellent book, Free Your Mind, etc. Just like with the Milgram experiment, something can unlock people resisting. So as well as being told you have no choice, something they found in the Ash experiments, even though it's like embarrassing and terrifying how compliant people were, how willing they were to ignore danger or give the wrong answer. If someone else spoke up, then suddenly everything flips, and they're so much more willing to give the right answer and disagree with the rest of the group. They only needed one other person, and they could rebel. So Kevin is the guy saying, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I have such a good example of that.
He doesn't have any support.
Yeah.
Whereas Scruffy, the janitor, turns up. Where's my boy?
Harold. By the way,
Scruffy.
I have such a good real life example, but I cannot say it here.
Oh,
I cannot say it here.
Okay.
But I have a real life example, and it was actually myself who did the pushing. And I was like, no, this is
Oh
bollocks.
man, can you tell me after the stream?
I will
I want to
absolutely
know.
tell you off
I
the
want to
stream.
know.
Yeah.
So we notice Harold here. He's talking to Officer Daniels. He's encountered that he's come in fresh into the situation. He is an older man, so he's primed to be less compliant, and he's just not the kind of work he's doing. He is not subject to layers and layers of managerial nonsense.
Mm.
He's never had that, so he hasn't had that compliance drilled into him by work. He's just a handyman. He comes fresh into the situation. He hasn't been primed with like slow nudges of increasing intensity, escalating basically. He just comes in, he's like, absolutely no. And
Yeah.
Kevin is there to back him up. And because
Yeah.
Kevin is there to back him up, it basically hard cuts
It
from
just
this
falls apart.
to
Yeah,
the police.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
That
I love
is
that.
so
Yeah.
true to real life. It is so true to the psychology.
100%. 100%.
Mm.
And also, I think if I remember correctly, with Harold, when Daniels speaks to him, like the first thing he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to start. You're gonna have to take that dress, that apron off." It's like because it goes, there's no build up to that point. He's just gone, "Yeah, no apron." He's like, "Shut up! What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we get a based Harold in the chat?
Oh,
Big dub
based
for
Harold,
Harold.
please. Yes.
Big dub for Harold. He even
Yeah.
just, you know what he comes at first with? Like just a basic decency argument. This guy has moral standards. I love
Yeah.
Harold.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think I should be seeing a young lady like in a state of undress or something like that. It's very sort of very, very politely put across, but firmly. Like, I can't do this. This is it's inappropriate.
Yeah, I love it.
It's procedure.
Distant Nights.
Pure procedure.
Pure procedure is the word. TCG. Distant Night. You've segued me into Distant Night super chats perfectly. You gave me the layup. Distant Night is sent to. So thank you very much for that. 10 Aussie dollars in total. Saying this phenomenon is a component of something I've termed pretentious perennial perception, a mechanism for weaponized moral ambiguity. I like it. It allows individuals to outsource agency and acuity while also priming precognition. I'm writing about it for the Sovereigntist. Folks, you should give the Substack, the Sovereigntist, a go. There is I'm actually going to be using one of the articles on there about the terrors of work. So yeah, do give it a look, and we'll look forward to that. Yeah, I think the outsourcing agency is key. It's very important. You know, I don't have to make a decision. There's a process. Someone else is responsible. I'm just following orders. That's not my department, etc., etc. Like, or the black cashier who just gets to say, I'm staying out of that. I'm not getting involved in that. You know, won't prevent it, won't take part. It's just like, I'm keeping out of that. Priming,
I'm staying in my lane.
That's interesting. I'm trying to work out what the priming precognition aspect of that is. We'll look forward to the article. Thank you ever so much for the support.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Yes, we're getting Harold support. I love it. I thought I'd give you another real life example of resistance if you want. A Harold in real life. Except in contrast to most experience on the internet, it's the old man is actually a high school teenage girl. Usually it's the other way around on the internet. But in this case, our Harold was a teenage girl. I'm going to share this tab. If you can't read that, if you're just listening to this on the audio, this is a BBC article from 2019. Many similar cases. Lessons to be learnt over older Stoke High School pupil. This is a 30-year-old dude who pretended to be a 15-year-old boy when he came in as a fake asylum seeker, pretending to be a child refugee from Syria. Brilliant.
I think I recall this.
Yeah,
absolutely
if you were
ridiculous.
Yeah, Lawrence is remembering. Yeah, many such cases, but this was the funniest one, and I was able to find it because I remembered the exact phrase. How's there a 30-year-old man in our maths class. Yes,
Yeah.
he was not a very convincing 15-year-old.
No, I mean the 5 o'clock shadow gives it away a little bit, doesn't it? And the receding
Yeah.
hairline.
Yeah. But what was very interesting is like the pupils were all saying, what? And complained to the teacher. What does the teacher doing? He said, teacher says, I can't do anything about it. That's a
Yeah.
head. Talk to the, got to talk to the headmaster. It's not my decision.
I'm just
I
following
can't
orders.
make that choice.
Yeah.
The policy is that we're not allowed to accuse them. And I know personally of an example of this.
Oh wow.
Not at my school, but a very, very close friend told me they had this at their school.
Oh.
The teacher said, no, this is not a child.
Yeah.
But they also weren't allowed to do any medical tests to confirm. And basically they were overruled, and an adult pretending to be a kid came back in and assaulted a bunch of kids. But the teacher got to say they're following policy. And you do wonder, at what point do you say, I'm not following that policy? When do you become Harold?
Yeah.
When do you do it? Because the teachers buckled in. The pupils did not. The pupils shared it. Like the Ash experiments, like Kevin, they were the people to say, actually, no, we're not backing down. We're not shutting up. We're going to tell it to you straight, like a pear cider made out of 100% pears. Just not diluting it.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like the teenagers have to be characteristically rebellious.
Yeah.
So
if they had backed down, if carried on, well, you can imagine what would have happened.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but they just raised the voices. They didn't back down, and that got other people laughing. And it was actually the mockery, basically, got this solved and got the kid kicked out. I said kid.
Oh, you said kid.
30-year-old, soon
30-year-old man. Fucking hell. Like, honestly, it's embarrassing. It is genuinely embarrassing how we just so many, especially in like schools, man. It's schools.
Yeah.
How weak-willed some of these people are. Like, Jesus Christ.
Little fuss, but they're told by someone in
need,
authority, procedure.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine even being told that without a doctor's assessment, we can't tell you that this 15-year-old is actually 30.
Never mind, he's got more wrinkles than my granddad, but fucking hell.
Wrinklier than ballsack, but they're in there just.
Jesus wept. Yeah. And I bet it was like, and I bet, there was a bit of pushback against the kids as well. Like, you can't be saying, no, that's racist. You can't be racist.
Many of the stories, the kids were punished for it. And it just took them kicking off and saying, no, not complying.
So stupid.
But as we've covered in the stream, it is a rare psychological type who will not be cowed by that.
Yeah.
Now, people with that psychological type, people like me, it's not all rosy. Sometimes we're probably a pain to work with, but we do have our good side.
Yeah.
We need science to confirm. Yes, you need to check.
But again, it's just a case like there's nothing wrong with asking questions. Absolutely. And like I say, there are times when you can have a process in place or a procedure and it makes sense. If it makes sense, if there's a common sense behind it, and like I say, if there's an element of discretion which allows you to work outside, without going completely outside the boundaries, but working sort of almost like bending the rules, if you will, but to get the desired result without actually having to, break the law or anything along those lines. Again, I think there should be their flexibility, but the fact that it takes a bunch of children to turn around to these teachers and go, look, hang on a minute, like, what's going on with him over there? He's speaking to he's on the phone to his children at the moment. Like, are you sure he's 15? Because those kids look 15. The kids he's talking to on his smartphone look 15. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, it is actually, it is bad. The fact that they would quite happily have a 30-year-old in their classrooms and just be and just say nothing.
The teacher just goes along with it.
How the f do you sleep at night knowing that? Like, what if anything happened to any of those kids because of that twat?
Probably
What is the point in
you
that geezer
follow a
being in the school?
procedure
Yeah.
and you say
Yeah,
you were following
would you let him
instructions.
in, you know, and would those
Yeah.
same teachers let him work in a let him attend a primary school if he turned around and said, "I'm actually
Mm,
11. I'm actually an 11-year-old." Oh, we, you
yeah.
know, or you know, we can't really question it. You know, put him in with like 10, 11-year-olds. Like, would you do
Yeah.
that? No, you wouldn't, because you know that's pushing the boundaries. But they probably would. Oh, he's just a very tall 12. He's just a very tall
Yeah.
11-year-old. No, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
It's as you say, that I've deliberately given quite a wide range of examples tonight.
yeah,
Compliance is
and it's crazy,
really
isn't
like,
it? And again,
it's a
like I say, you
horror
know,
film about a commonly seen horror, like
yeah,
a real problem.
yeah. And again, if you'd asked those teachers, like say 5 years before all of it started getting really loopy, you know,
Mm,
if you had a 30-year-old in your classroom and they, you know, they said they were 15 years old, but they blatantly looked like a 30-year-old, would you put up with
mm.
that? They probably would have said, no, absolutely not. I'd do this, that, the other. But when push comes to shove, oh, bit above my pay grade. Can't really do anything
Yeah.
about
I
it.
just need to outsource a responsibility, don't make
Yeah,
me make a decision, etc.
yeah,
Decision avoidance is a very characteristic thing of our system. And I'm trying not to do too many current references, but it's like in the UK at the moment, don't we bloom in love and inquiry? It's
oh
fantastic.
yeah,
We love an inquiry because
oh
you
we
can
do.
have, in fact, make an even bigger inquiry, big as possible, because then it's, if it doesn't deliver its findings for about 16 years, we're all
Mm,
out of office. Job done.
yep,
Then we
yep,
don't have to do anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
It's
just
a deferment of responsibility is an absolute disease of
yeah.
advanced liberalism. What
Yeah,
can you
and they
do?
wonder why people have had enough. They wonder why people have had enough because it is so absurd.
Mm,
And any sort of reasonable person that sort of questions something that's clearly like just riddled with lunacy, clearly, and
mm,
then they're just labeled, you know, any sort of derogatory term just to shut them up. It
mm,
it boggles that, you know, I really do wonder why people are less trustworthy of these authority figures, government figures, you know, educational figures.
mm.
I just can't put my finger as to why that is.
Can't put my
Mm,
finger on it.
yeah.
So when we get to like, I'm not going to dwell on it too much because it is genuinely very unpleasant, but we get to after the, uh, where will I go? Well, we'll go with this one. I'll just sort of skirt through some of the
Mm.
imagery of like the climactic scene, basically, as pun
Yeah.
not intended. But I mean, there is some sneaky visual punning in here. Excuse me. That you, I'm sure you caught. I'll
Yeah.
just go through it and like to bring the discussion to something of a close. But
There was a few mentionings of in,
mhm.
you know, we'll keep him here till you come.
Oh God,
They said
yes.
that quite a few times to the guy on the phone. It's like,
I wondered if that was deliberate, but
yeah, I feel like it was.
as we said, what it builds up to, like a really interesting scene. And forgive me if you've seen the film, I'm going to recount this for people who haven't, and I've also got images up to help. The scene when he's basically been looking right up her, like right
Oh
up her
yeah,
vulva.
that is just oh
And then Sandra comes in and they all spring apart, like they know they're not doing something right.
yes.
But
Yep.
they both, like, there's a kind of mutual shame, like they're both kind of
Mm,
hostage to this situation. Van is a weak-willed dude, but
yeah.
he's going along with it. And this is like a Stockholm syndrome situation. Like they don't want to get in trouble. They kind of don't want Sandra to come in and cause a problem by pointing out what the hell's going on. So
Yeah.
she comes in and basically nags Van for not complying enough.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah,
By that
after
point,
that,
she's completely bought it.
she totally
Yeah.
has. Like she's very ashamed. She doesn't want to make it worse. She gives some basic resistance, basically pleads with Sandra to get her out. And Sandra absolutely puts her down, puts her in a place,
Yeah.
as you see recounted in the sort of interview at the end. But for talking back to Sandra, that's the excuse that Daniels gives for making her go over Van's nap to get spanked as punishment. Van gets a little more authoritative, starts giving instructions. She's got to call him sir. Just starts saying, come over here. Go on, get over. She goes with it. And she's looking just like deadened at this point.
Yeah.
Numb. She gets spanked like this. This is the angle you have. Basically, very unerotic. Good choice by the director.
100%.
This cannot be enjoyed in that way.
Correct.
You see how degrading it is, but there's no way you can get your kicks from it. And then afterwards, she's told, like, after the punishment, she's going to have to do a nice thing or to be a good girl to Van, to apologize to him. We know where that leads. But after the spanking, we sort of go into this weird montage of like Van's face.
Yeah.
And then what's happening outside, Sandra just maybe starting to fret about it. And then we see this image, which is spilled soda.
Bruh.
It's not quite a train going into a tunnel, but I think you follow me.
Yeah.
We have that, and then we just get these close-ups, like she's on her hands and knees.
Yeah.
Her feet are in this awkward. It's so well framed because it is such an awkward stance to be in.
Yeah.
Like that looks painful to me. And then I think I can share this. But yeah, this angle gives you enough to know what's going on.
Yeah. Move on very quickly from that image, I would
but
say.
she's also very like dehumanized, like no head.
Yeah, it's
no head for either. Oh god, ironic, unintended pun. Basically, you cannot see their head or faces, which is your classic symbolism of someone is without agency. They've been dehumanized. But the director, I think, is having a bit of a sneaky one by, as she's doing that, he then immediately goes to this shot of a straw, which he moves up. What do we do with the straw, folks? I'm sure you can draw your own conclusions and see what he's getting at. And then just after, that was maybe a cheeky, inappropriate joke, or just very on the nose symbolism. But after that, we just get these distorted close-ups of Becky just really looking out of it.
Yeah.
If you're wondering, like, how the hell did it get that far? I hope over the course of the stream, TCG and I have given more than enough examples of exactly how.
Yeah, I just find it frustrating that there's. Well, I suppose that it's partially explained because you got to take your licks in now. You got to get spanked, and then you got to do something nice. But it's just how he convinces them both to participate. Because again, Van doesn't look like someone who actually wants to do that. I think, he looks very guilt-ridden, and he's acknowledged that he's done something bad, and I don't think he quite understands how he's got into that position. Do you know what I mean? It's not, again, not endorsing it, because he should have said, no, hell no. So,
they were both totally manipulated by it. Like, he doesn't look like a guy who was looking for any excuse to take advantage. Like, he was scolded by his wife, he's scolded by a policeman. Everyone is basically saying, yeah, this is fine, this is normal. Like, I'm not putting blame on Becky, but when he'd come in, Becky had made a big plea of, no, please help me, get me out of here. This is so weird. This is he's new to the situation and had probably kicked off a bit more.
Mm.
And or at least said, "I don't know, Sandra, can we call your regional manager? This just seems weird," right?
Yeah, yeah.
But at
But
that
again,
point, she's been very broken down, so yeah. Oof.
yeah, but again, it's completely broken down, just completely going along with it.
Um,
For all he knows, she's not really speaking to it. She's not really speaking at that point,
no.
really. So as far as he's concerned, based on the information he's got, she's probably she probably has, you know, stolen the money, and she's probably
Mm.
feeling very sorry for herself. And excuse me,
She's
I can't
given
remember.
up defending herself, really,
Yeah.
hasn't she?
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
nothing's going through, and everyone seems to be working against her now, with the exception of Kevin, of course.
Yeah.
But then he's not brought back into the fold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe's mentioned a couple of times whether he thinks the Milgram experiment consensual,
Thank you very much, Patrick Batman. Much appreciated. And yeah.
whether the director might actually be a little bit on the perverse side. I can't speak for the other work. And I don't think it's an awareness piece either, because I've seen the quote there, Joe.
Mm.
Purely on the basis that it's inspired by real events and based on what transpired in real life. This actually seems to actually not go as far as the stuff that happened in real life, which
This
again
was a
just
milder one.
astounds me. Yeah, which
Mm.
astounds me. Yeah, I just think it's, I wouldn't say an awareness piece, but it's just like, this is crazy. Like, this shit happened. In fact, it didn't.
Yeah,
But
I'll push back on that a bit, Joe. I mean, I'll foreground this. That I massively respect Joe's analysis, and he
mm,
is incredible at picking up details and symbolism, um, and can often see the message under the message. But I'm going to say this is a bit of a misfire, I think, Joe. You're totally welcome to not enjoy it. It's a harrowing film, but
I don't blame you if you don't enjoy it. Like,
yeah,
again, it's not a film, I think, that
yeah.
should make the
I,
viewer feel comfortable or satisfied with what's going
I
on.
think we're
Or
firmly in
mm,
a very empathic mode here. Raising awareness. Yeah, he is raising awareness. I think it's both about a real issue, but it's making you ask questions about how we comply.
mm,
That the issue of what are we going along with? Um, that as we've gone out of our way in designing this stream to talk about
yeah,
very widely just issues across history and across current times, where we see this kind of pathological compliance that is a real modern disease. Um, and I think it is worth highlighting. So I'm going to go with I massively support raising awareness. This specific example is used to get us to talk about a particular theme. I think that's fantastic.
I do
As
think there's an
for
element of I think there is an element of conflict to be had here, because I just seeing what you
mm,
most recently said, dude. Um, and I can't speak for his intentions, but
mm,
there is a level of almost conflict, isn't there? Because there is objectively an attractive woman,
mm,
but the things that she is made to experience and the things that you as the viewer see aren't j- j- they're not,
there are
they
ways of
don't go in hand.
shooting it that would. I know the accusation would be like, oh, it's just so you can, I'm making a film about a terrible guy who just so happens
Yeah,
to share the exact kind of thing I want to see. Isn't it terrible? I'll shoot him at the end, so it's fine. Like we've seen films where there's like sexual violence that is then like, I'm sorry, it's shot in a way that it heightens eroticism. This is something, by the way, the BBFC
what,
specifically targets you against. I will
what was that?
name
What was that
disturbing
film?
behavior is a recent example.
What was that film that we watched? It had Robert Englund in it. Oh my god,
Oh yeah, Death Trap.
Death Trap. I mean, that to me strikes as one film that, yeah,
Mm,
eroticizes the SA element, especially in that opening scene. Bite the pillow, bitch. I'm going in dry.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a great a great one. There's unfortunately quite a few of them from that time where really you seem to be. It's a scene of sexual violence that just so coincidentally you're meant to be able to enjoy. Some people, man, but disturbing behavior is a class that I tend to go for that as my example. That's just like there's just I think it's Katie Holmes just gets groped and it's framed clear like this is not a good thing, this is a bad thing. She doesn't like it, but the director goes for a real close in on that groping. That's like
yeah.
very very poor taste. So yeah.
And I
Oh,
think
guys, arguing in the chat. No, 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 no.
we're all
Let's not
friends.
argue in the chat, guys. It's a fun Thursday
We're all
night.
friends. But I think, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's elements of like horror and areas of filmmaking that I personally would probably align with you and Joe. I'm not a big fan of the sort of the sexual horror, grape. Oh, I hate fucking YouTube. Those kinds of scenes. I am definitely not a fan of at all, and I will actively try and avoid if I can. I mean, that film we saw, the landmine film,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Landmine Goes Click or whatever it was called. You know, that was awful. The scene in that is just awful, and you know, ugh, yeah, words can't express how disgusted it is. But again, you know, there's like a one-sided sexual perverse element that almost there is a level of enjoyment from at least one of the parties in that scene. Whereas with this one, it is trying to think of the word. I mean, not neither party seems to be enjoying it. It's quite clear that essentially they've both been coerced into it, um, and it's shot in a way that doesn't, to me at least, doesn't sort of try and you know sexualize Becky's character. I just don't get that vibe. I just didn't get that vibe in there. I mean, obviously, would I like this film not to have that bit in there? Of course, absolutely. But yeah, apparently the real life stuff went further. So I'm just glad
Yeah.
they didn't go all the way.
Yeah, I think it did an incredible job of like
Jesus,
not hiding how
it held. It held.
objectified
Yeah,
she was, but
it
really not letting anyone enjoy it.
yeah, I think it held. But I mean, it was probably quite they're probably quite comfortable to go right. Okay, we can actually hold back because the things that we're going to show are just are more than enough to really sort of make the viewer disgusted at what they're witnessing,
Oh yeah.
and to effectively have them screaming. Like I say, at the Sundance Festival, they were literally like screaming like and shouting and leaving leaving the viewing of the film because it was that disgusting and that outrageous and like I say that unbelievable, but it happened and it's like crazy, man. It's crazy.
It really is. Like I'm gonna say just like with Speak No Evil, you get worked up in this film, you get
Yeah,
angry, but
yeah,
there's a reason. You are meant to. You're meant to. And in fact, let that inspire you. Let yourself be the Kevin and the Harold. But if you're taking one thing from this, think of those Ash experiments and be Kevin or Harold. Be unashamed. You're going to
yeah.
have plenty of opportunity to be, and you might find that one other person desperate for a bit of support who will then be able to speak out. That's like my lesson for the week.
Class is in session. No 30-year-old, 15-year-olds
No.
allowed.
Oh, gee. Thank you, Patrick Batman. You sent in £10, very much appreciated. Saying 2 films that would go well with this: The Experiment 2010. We have covered it on this channel way back in the day, and The Stanford Prison Experiment 2015. Films about normal people being given complete authority over people and it going out of control. Fantastic recommendations, and thank you very much for the tenner. They are great. I particularly enjoyed The Experiment. It's German, which has certain extra resonances to it. I'm sure you can imagine. I'll throw in another one you might like. We referenced it earlier, The Hunt, there's a lot of brutal procedure and moral abdication in that film. Very, very good. We're gosh, I can say we're going to get into eventually a special with Simon Roberts about sort of very modern horror. We want to cover the world of work, and I think we had a couple of films and reference series that we're going to feed into that. But I think, oh man, we've got to throw compliance in the mix as well. We've got to do it. Yeah, great recommendation. Thank you very much for the super chat. It's much appreciated. Oh, apologies. The 2010 one is the American remake.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I have not seen it. I've only seen the German original. That's one I'd recommend with Moritz Bleibtreu from Oliver Herrspiegel. It's just, I just think it gains a bit from being in German.
Well, we know how much we know how bureaucratic the Germans are and how much they like their rules and their process and procedures.
I mean, it's kind of like odd reference from me, but Margarete von Trotter's Christ, what's it in English? The Pledge.
Okay.
Betrauung. Okay. It's another case where just sort of a current scenario is just meant to be used to re-examine that sort of historical trauma and guilt and all that business. It finds many expressions in German cinema, let's put it that way. Adrian Brody and Forrest Whitaker in it, crikey.
Oh, wow.
That is an interesting cast.
I'm pretty sure Adrian Brody's been popping up on my timeline lately, like watching YouTube shorts. He plays like a teacher in a TV show or film or something like that. I don't know, but it's just like you get the random clips. It's just that.
I try not to. You never feel good after you watch one, do you? You always feel like you've been mugged off.
I'm a sucker for doom scrolling, unfortunately. But
the shorts are the worst, though, man. It's like the clip with some like doom 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 bass music behind it, terrible editing, and you're like, why did I watch that?
Sounds like all of my shorts. No.
It's a good, it's a good scene. Why didn't I just watch the scene?
Yeah. Or do you know what the ones that really irk me, right? Are the ones where, it's like a banger film or banger TV show. They play like one of the best, like a really decent scene from it, and then they never actually like say what the fucking show is or the film. It's like, credit,
and of
please.
Course, the worst one of all. I watched this one short. I didn't even find out what the oranges were for.
That's
anyway.
Well, we'll never find out. I don't think we'll ever truly find out. That is, there's lots of theories, lots of speculation, but I don't think we'll ever truly find out what these oranges were for.
No. Oh man. There's one final dark spin we have to put on this. I'll just throw this to you. I meant to cover this earlier.
Secret magic word.
Let me get this up. I wanted to ask you about this scene and get your takes on it, because I thought we've been too cheerful and optimistic so far, TCG. Oh no, they're not out again, are they? I can't carry on. I'm gonna have to look.
Do you know what? Your head is.
I get so distracted.
Oh my god! I just realised how almost aligned your head is to the. Right, I'm moving up. I'm stopping.
I just noticed. Don't do me like that, TCG.
Oh, no.
That's it. No. Give me your blobby.
Right.
Joe, I'm gonna have to time you out, man. Chill it out. Let's have peace.
Come on, guys.
Peace
No fighting. Draw a line.
Come on, guys.
Let's all draw.
So anyway, this scene, we've been far too cheery. I need to add an additional black pill. Maybe. I'm throwing this out there because I haven't made my mind up on this. This scene, also based on real life, okay. Becky meets with a lawyer, trying to talk about like what should she do. She talks
Yeah.
about suing Sandra. Sandra's
Yeah.
unemployed, but
Yeah.
Sandra doesn't have big assets. And
Well,
I won't make the joke. The lawyer's basically like, no, you have to basically sue the whole corporation.
yeah.
And I want Becky to get big compensation for what she was put through, but it is an interesting little dark question. It's like, has responsibility been obfuscated again? Like, if this whole thing is about not taking responsibility, is it wrong that Becky is moving responsibility onto the corporation when really, like, they didn't do anything? They have no policy which does this. I've talked for a while. I'll throw that out to you.
It's a good question. Ultimately, I think she has every right to seek oh God, I've completely lost my train of thought. I think she has every right to seek some form of compensation for what happened. Yes, it's extreme. Yes, she should have absolutely stood up for herself. However, that Sandra should have absolutely drawn a line. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's weird. It's a weird one because, to sort of say, no, she shouldn't almost implies a little bit of victim blaming because, hey, you put yourself in this situation, love, you should have got yourself out of it. Well, it doesn't, I don't think that flies with me. I think ultimately, she was, again, not to sound lefty, but there were like power, there was an element of power.
Of course.
And I think, it was almost, it was almost futile for her, I don't think she would have I don't think she would have made Sandra see sense because she was so process pilled
True.
at that point. I think it would have taken something extreme, like if she'd walked in and saw that, like, because obviously they, like you rightly point out, it's a really great point when they sort of like, oh shit, sort yourselves out, oh, not doing anything, not doing anything. If she had caught them in the act, if she caught them in the act, that might have been something that would have snapped her back into reality. Because, like, when I want them out, but it's difficult to explain. But ultimately, I think no, she should absolutely be like, she's been violated, she's been abused, she's been degraded, humiliated, 100%. And in fact, I don't know why she's getting an option, because again, it sounds like, here's your choice. How about screw you, both of them? How about we do that?
Yeah, could do. I guess I just okay, that's an interesting one. I thought it was in this thing about misallocating responsibility, just putting it on the corporation. I thought is maybe not there, but obviously I want Becky to get compensation. I'll give you a
there's a
little
level of
legal
pragmatism.
Case. This is
I think there's a level of pragmatism with that, because we can punish the woman who put you through all of this, but let's be honest, she ain't got a nickel to her name. Or we can go for the the corpos. They'll probably want to settle. That's where you'll get your big bucks. But there is an element of responsibility there as well.
Yeah,
because they should have foreseen something so outlandishly ridiculous. They should have trained you for that. Like, whatever.
This is, Joe, bro. I was saying, don't make me time you out. Let's chill the arguing. I don't want to do it.
Sharon Stone vibes.
Sharon Stone vibes. I don't know. Anyway, what I was going to get,
or Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm thinking.
What? Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer. I can sort of see that. Dreamer Walker looking a bit like Michelle Pfeiffer. I guess what I was going to say, we're going long, but this is a fascinating film. Tort law is one of those things, again, because I'm very disagreeable, it drove me mad. But there are quite a few cases where someone clearly someone was on a job. I think the case is the one we all learned was a truck driver who's at a petrol station refueling, smoking. Against company policy, trained on it, don't do it, do not do it. If you're in our van, if you're driving, you do not smoke, especially at a petrol station. You can guess where this goes. He drops a cigarette, he blows up a petrol station.
Yeah.
Genius. Now, obviously, the petrol station company sue him, but he doesn't have any money. So they escalate to the company that sent him.
Yeah.
And they were found liable, even though he was acting clearly in contravention of extensive training. And I don't want to seem like I'm a big corpo stan, but it always, that and many similar cases always seemed a bit wrong to me. It's like he's not doing it on the corpo's orders; he's doing it against the corpo's orders. It just seemed wrong that they were found liable, but they had the money, and that seems to be what's happening here. And I don't think there's a good answer to it, but it just always winds me up, and it seems to sort of fit one of the themes of this film.
Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it? Like, because again, it's not like the CEO of Chickwich was like was there when it happened. But I think, I suppose there is an element of responsibility, because again, actually, again, even with our company, or even our company, places where I've worked before, like we have a specific process where if you got contacted by the police or someone claiming to be from the police, you direct them to someone else. And the reason for that is because, again, if they're coming in, they're wanting CCTV, let's say, for example, they have to be directed because they have to go through a verification process. That didn't happen here, and it might seem a bit nonsensical if someone's walking in and they've got the uniform and the things like that. But that's how you get caught out, because, as I mentioned earlier, if you can scam money from people with nothing more than a high vis and a clipboard, what else could you go with if someone like donned a police uniform and then was like, right, I need access to these restricted areas, I need access to CCTV, this, that, the other. So there was clearly a failure in terms of the business from Chickwich, because you get a phone call from the police, and apparently now Sandra has to deal with it all, because the manager, regional manager's there. She never checks it. She never does that. There is a level of I think it would be fair to say that there's a level of responsibility there on the company, because essentially they haven't protected.
Persuasive to me, actually.
They haven't protected the staff from any sort of liability, because they've probably because they've never expected anything like to happen. But you expect the unexpected, and I think the company are liable in that regard. But Sandra, ultimately, again, it's tricky, in it, but she's liable more so, I think. But you bleed the company dry, and not the individual, because the individual's got none left. She's already lost everything. She lost her fiance, to be ish. She lost her job. She's lost her income.
You made a good case. I think Dr. Prepper's made the same argument, and I'll you know what, you got me on that. I'm quite persuaded by it. But I'm also looking at oh, sorry, man, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was going to say, but I am speaking from someone who's got a financial background. So like that sort of, those sorts of conversations, those sort of processes and things like that are probably second nature in those kind of industries. Fast food restaurant, like what would you expect? What would be the processes? I don't know. No, actually, I do know. Oh my god, it's like a flashbang in my brain. Yeah, they have a similar thing. When I used to work for, and I think I've mentioned it before, but I spent time at Pizza Hut, and they had a similar thing. there was a specific like number that they would have to contact. You'd have to go through a verification process. And again, I suppose that's because of money handling. So there should have absolutely been a policy in place at this place, and there wasn't, because they handle cash, they handle money. You know, someone wearing uniform, like claiming to be a uniformed officer, could have come in and requested like access to a restricted part of the building. Yeah, it falls in line. They should have absolutely, yeah, screw the company, eat the rich.
All right, good. Welcome to Proper Horror Show featuring Gary's economics.
Yeah, I feel guilty about it, you know. So yeah, so I'm just gonna tell you all to tax the rich, because apparently they're more than happy to.
That Pizzagate guy. Oh no.
Absolute dick splash. Absolute dick splash that Gary Geezer is. Look, mate, if you feel guilty, mate, you know, make a voluntary donation to HMRC. You know, I hear you have a couple of million you got going spare that you feel really bad about, and apparently you think HMRC can spend your money better than you. So
yeah,
do it.
I love that little interview where he's just getting schooled on the absolute basics. But
Yeah.
anyway, we are running slightly over time here because this film is just that fascinating. It's just that fascinating. Controversial, evidently, but fascinating. At this point, TSG, shall we go into closing thoughts and scores?
Yeah, sorry, before I do, that's actually quite a good point by Lawrence, to be fair. The policies are introduced after. that tends to that does
Oh,
tend
yeah,
to be
true,
that does
true.
tend to be a trend, actually.
Very true.
But yeah, but you know, you can, but equally, you know, there are preemptive. I prefer to be proactive rather than reactive. So, you know, you kind of look for things that might be a bit out of left field. But yeah, it's totally true, though. Totally true. The amount of things that change after the fact. I mean, look at the air industry. Look at the air industry.
Oh yeah.
How many changes to regulation have there been after a massive catastrophe has occurred? I've watched enough air crash investigation to know that. Especially before we're going on holiday, we like to do that. Binge watch air crash. But who knows? Okay. Yeah. Final thoughts. Awesome film. Brilliant film. Yeah, I highly recommend, if only because it would infuriate you how unfortunately idiotic some people can be. But I think we all have a level of susceptibility to it. And I think this is just an extreme example of compliance, you know, going to a level that you would never expect it to go. But as it tells you at the beginning of the film in big letters, it is based on true events, and the real events actually go further, as we've learned tonight. So
here we go. True.
Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. Acting, brilliant. I think the Becky character was, the actress who played Becky was phenomenal. I thought she was really good. Same for Sandra as well. I thought she was very convincing as a gullible middle-aged lady, just trying to follow orders, try to do the right thing, which was of course horrifically the wrong thing. Daniels was efficiently creepy. And yeah, big dubs for Harold, and a slightly smaller dub for Kevin as well. Well done, chaps.
Yeah.
Well done, chaps. Burgers 10, easy. I will meet your minimum. I will meet your minimum 100%. No ketchup. But we will have to save some of these burgers for later, so we're going to put them in our pockets, and when we want to retrieve them later on, we shall be doing jumping jacks.
Nice.
To be honest, it only loses a couple of burgers, just because I really wanted to know how it got from Spank to that bit. I just purely to see how he would have absolutely mind fudged them into agreeing to that. But yeah.
I think that's a good thing to highlight as well. I've seen 8. I really like this one. 8 burgers for the film, 10, maybe 11 for the discussion itself. Thank you, Lawrence.
Hey,
I know Murgoot dropped an 8. Bless him. We didn't even say. I apologize. I saw he came up in chat, and I meant to respond, but there's always about 20 things you want to say at once in these streams. So unfortunately, Murgoot, not feeling great. If you make it to this part, Murgoot, on a rewatch, I hope you're feeling better. Obviously, we said that in our backstage DMs. Murgoot gave it an 8, bless him, and approved of this. Yeah, 10 psyop burgers. 10 psyop burgers from Paul Allen. Free your mind appreciator.
Oh, I saw someone say "open your mind." I think it was "open your." As soon as you got that, I was like, "Oh yeah, total recall."
Yeah. So
Open your
yeah.
mind.
As for my score, I'm so glad the 10 minimum has been reached. Yes, we want 10s, folks. If you put less than 10, I'm convincing you, right? I'm gonna nudge you. That's you being nudged to get those extra burgers on there. As for this, I see another 10. I love it. Joe,
I think
not appreciate it. Don't worry.
no, maybe
Not
Joe just
everything's for
forgot.
everyone.
Maybe Joe didn't press the one hard enough,
There we go. That's it. Always looking on the sunny side.
or it's the shame stream all over again.
So it's for this. Yeah, great acting, really well shot, sensitively directed, bloody harrowing, and I love that I wasn't spoon-fed this. It's clearly been extremely well researched. Like, they're not going to have, I think they're probably not going to have the calls on tape too easy, but they've built this up as almost like a composite example of how it happens. Basically, is just like a warning. Probably all these techniques weren't used, but they are so meticulously included that when they were just going through them, it was like a tick box for stuff I've read in this book, and we do have a few copies of Jackalope up on the bookshelf, but I'm not going to fetch them as well while I'm at it. Yeah, just incredibly well researched. I think I said great, harrowing performances, intelligently told. The only questions I would have, yeah, if I'm knocking burgers off, it's because, yes, I could have probably handled seeing how they made that transition to the final act that you talked about. And there's maybe even a question that possibly some punches were pulled, because that could have been a moment of like absolute disgust. And I think possibly by showing it the way they did, they pulled their punch a bit. But I don't know, maybe that would have been actually so unpleasant in the moment, I would have not liked it. So
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think they
knocking it down to a 10.
yeah, they were very, very close when she was sort of bent over and then he was like there inspecting. I mean,
I
that
wonder if they filmed some stuff and then decided just no, we don't need it.
maybe. I think, it's like after that, you kind of get the gist as to sort of like what this guy's kinks are and what his motives are. Yeah, I just don't think you need to go any further than that. Yeah, chat. As I mentioned earlier, the push, Darren Brown, guys. I highly recommend you go and check that out. It's nowhere near as it's nowhere near as sexualized than this, but it carries a lot of the same beats. If you're interested in sort of like the compliance theory and sort of like the lengths that people may go when dealing with authority figures or people in authority in positions of authority, definitely look up The Push, Darren Brown. It is a great piece of media that he has put out.
Yeah, seconded. And also Arpanjit also really appreciating this film. I'm glad to hear it. I'm chuffed. Folks, it's got to be a 10. It's an easy 10. I could quibble, like I think the quibbles I've already done, and maybe I could have handled a bit more music. They went for a lot of no soundtrack stuff. I might have liked a bit of music, but I am quibbling. This is a 10. This is super strong. Great film. Great film. So chuffed we watched it. I will be recommending it. Harrowing, but also not absolutely traumatizing the way Speak No Evil was, and with a lot that we can learn from it. I thought we'd do this as a quick one, but the film is too darn interesting. TCG.
I could talk about it for hours more. Honestly, I think this was a great recommendation, great film suggestion. So much better than last week's.
The tricky thing was holding.
What?
Like, there are a lot of real life examples of just compliance where I've just wanted to scream that I'm holding back from.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, this wasn't just a film that you could just sort of sit there and just watch and then almost like feel nothing. Like, look at it from an analytical point of view. This actually was one of those few films nowadays where I'm like effectively screaming at the TV, like, what what you're doing? Like, I was wholly invested. And I know it's been mentioned a few times, Speak No Evil. I'm saying that because Dr. Prepper just literally mentioned it now, but it's been mentioned a few times. That was another film. Was it the Finnish version? Was it the
Danish
version? Thank you. The Danish version in particular for me was another one of those films that had very much sort of like the same visceral sort of emotional reaction. So it's it was good to watch another film like that where you almost want to reach into the screen and effectively save the day or slap some sense into these people. Brilliant. Yeah, more of the same, please. What we got next week then?
I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I've got it. We're gonna have a little bit of a treat. I was in two minds, but I've decided we will go for a bit of a. I'm so happy with how this went. I was going to cover another one in the theme, but I think we'll have a bit of a member treat next week.
Ooh.
So we're going to cover The Night House from 2020. House from 2020, requested many, many times from a long-time supporter of the channel. And I just thought, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to make it happen. Wife is saying we've got our wedding anniversary next week. Come on, priorities.
Snap.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah, actually, that's a good point. Actually, should we stream next week?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we work it. We might nudge the timelines a bit, but we will get our watch in. So there we go. The Night House from 2020 is your horror homework. You have had your review, your very happy review.
Devontae, I tell you what, you've been very, very persistent, but I will not comply. I'm not complying. Okay.
Yeah. See, he's learned. I love it. See, I've done something. Lawrence, yeah. There you go. See, don't say I don't do nothing for you. Thank you for the super chat and the recommendation. I hope I like it. I'm looking forward to it. There we go, folks. You've had your praising review of Compliance, one of the best films we've covered in ages. And you've got your horror homework for next week, The Night House from 2020. And furthermore, I hope you've had a good evening and that you are looking forward to a lovely Friday and the weekend after that. DCG, thank you ever so much, man.
Been a pleasure. And thank you very much, chat. Been awesome as always.
Yeah, awesome. Very generous, very funny. Keep it real, chat. I will catch you next week. Thanks, y'all. Cheers.